they made
Never
their
heard
own,
the English version.
they made their own English opening. All right, awesome.
It was like the same song. It was kind of like the way the Sailor Moon song was like. It was like this. It's the same song, but it's like.
Oh, I miss Sailor Moon
Basically the
openings
lyrics, right?
from the Japanese versions, at least. Those
It's
were-
not like the Digimon opening where it's
Oh,
completely different.
boy, those are weird.
Or the one we got instead of like butterfly, it's just Digimon.
Digital monsters. It's like, oh my god, what is that?
I think that was iconic in its own way, though. Like that was like still. I was the Digimon kid. I was like more of a fan of the Digimon show
At the time,
than the Pokemon
At
show.
the time-
yeah, even at the time. Yeah.
it was bigger than Pokemon. Yeah, it was more popular.
Well, yeah, I think the show is better. Like the show of Digimon.
Oh yeah,
It's just so much fucking better.
Yeah.
plot is much more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So good. The third season is so good.
let's get going, guys. Welcome to Smudcast number 281. How Yu Yu Hakusho tackles toxic masculinity. Oh boy, this is by HatsOffMedia. Came out last year in December. It has about almost 4,000 views, and his subscriber list is about 4,000 as well. So he's an anime fan. He is apparently a character and prop creator. I'm not sure what that is. I think it's just I think it's two jobs. It's not just one. He's not making character props. He's making character/props. So interesting idea of how a 90s anime dealt with an issue that never existed or was characterized as something else.
Wait, why is this icon? Is that a fedora? Is that his icon?
Yes.
I think that's
Jesus
a-
Christ.
Is that a
Is that
bowler?
Trilby?
Maybe a trill. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think a trilby has a triangular looking shape. I don't know.
It doesn't look like a bowler.
It could be a bowler.
Like that, like dip. It's got like that dip in it, you know. So
It's probably a fedora. Yeah. I don't know.
Discount fedora.
Anyway, it's a hat. It's not. It's his thing. That's his channel name. Hats off. Fine. That's cool. Whatever. So. Anyway, have you guys seen Yu Yu Hakusho? I've only seen a few episodes back in the day, and I thought it was all right.
Oh yeah, I watched it all. I
watched it all as
had
well.
to seek it out and watch it on illegal fan sub.
This
sites
is-
or fan dub,
this
like,
is during the
not
90s
the
where-
actual dub.
Where there were actual VCR stores and rental shops, and there was mom and pop rental shops, and you would find random anime cassettes, and you'd be like, "What's that? Oh yeah, 3x3 eyes. What the hell's that?" Yeah, you check it out and pop it in.
I'd often find like when you go into like secondhand shops and stuff, they wouldn't really separate the straight up hentai from like the anime because they don't know what it fucking is. They'd be like, what is this? Mother knows breast? Whatever. That's that anime shit. I just put it in with that anime shit. Fucking Naruto and shit. Yeah, I mean it's same
What
thing.
is this? Bible Black? It's some
Bible
satanic
Black?
video,
That
probably.
sounds. That's probably. I mean that looks like fucking. Bible
The
Black.
introduction of Christianity to Africa.
Yeah, I'll put it next to Blue Exorcist. They're the same shit.
Oh yeah, no, it was La Blue Girl. That was the one. Yeah, it's just a French thing. I don't know.
Tell you what though, the Digimon movie, the soundtrack, like some of the tunes they had in that like the friggin' the ska like music and shit.
Really?
Ah,
They have
so good.
ska
Fucking,
music. Wow.
you like Less Than Jake. You know that song? All my best friends are metalheads.
Okay.
That's such a good song.
Are you saying it's in the show?
I'm saying in the movie, in the movie, you know the Digimon movie that was released that had the opening, that was fucking, what is it, Angela Anaconda or some shit, at the start.
Angela Anaconda.
I think that's what it was. Is that what she's called? Am I thinking of? I'm trying to see if I'm remembering the name right.
Is that from not Toonami? Was
This weird
Nickelodeon.
Canadian show?
Yeah, Nickelodeon, I think. It was on
Yeah.
Angela Anaconda. I remember that crazy stop motion animation or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah. But for the Digimon movie, they had this like opening for some reason, and like you can't like even if you bought like the video or like the DVD of it or whatever, it was like hard like. It wasn't like just an add-on for its showing. It was like that. No, it's in the copy that you buy for some reason.
Okay.
And it's like if you turn the movie on, and it's like, oh, This is just part of it. This opening for some reason.
Okay, I mean, there's lots of ways that they sell things in the West and the Europe to appeal to this different audiences that may not like the initial openings from Japan.
Like, I don't remember anyone liking that show, Angela Anaconda.
I don't
remember anyone being like, oh yeah, I love that show.
I don't think everyone watched it. I don't like we saw it, but it was like, what is? Oh, it's that crazy weird thing.
What is it? Hello, my name is Angela. Hey, hello. Welcome to my very own show. Yeah, yeah.
Wide head. It was,
okay, bye.
Yeah, it felt very flat and I don't know, almost like a weird South Park.
There's an image there,
like
for
proto South Park, but not
chat.
as edgy. It just kind of.
Oh, this fucking thing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this fucking thing. Yeah.
No.
It's cursed. It always reminds you of the famous green text about that, where it's about how their parents' marriage was ruined because they went to see the Digimon movie and this was at the start of it, and then the parents were like, "What the fuck is this shit?" And that and he was like crying, and then the parents were like, "Oh, you took them to the wrong movie," and then they got into a big argument about it, and then they never actually watched the Digimon movie, and then his parents split.
Yeah, there was something,
and he's like, "I blame you, Angela Anaconda."
There was something creepy about that art style and having people's faces like cut out from a newspaper, animated, and I don't know. It just didn't. It felt a little weird to watch. I don't know what the exact word is. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever watching the animations from what was that British comedy troupe in the 60s. Monty Python. The stop animation. For some reason, as a kid, I got freaked out over that stuff.
It's very uncanny valley.
I did not though. Like I've seen it as a 6-year-old, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool."
It just looks like people's souls have been captured and are being like inside the film. Like they've been absorbed into these, and they're like struggling to get out. It's like in fucking Spy Kids,
Okay.
Where like they slow it down and it's like, he's a madman, help us, save us. He's a madman, help us, save us. It's like that.
Okay.
Like they're just struggling to get out. They're just like, please save us from this cut out nightmare.
I think it's because I was a kid, I must have been like 4 or 5 and I was watching. I didn't understand the comedy. I didn't understand, like with Monty Python's Holy Grail. I was like, what the hell is going on? And there was just jumping between animation and slapstick and other references. I couldn't even hear some of the jokes, like when they were talking about I didn't vote for you and all this other stuff. Like, what is
yeah
what's going on? So I had a hard time understanding, and I was more weirded out than laugh, because I knew it was a comedy, but my brain was like, what is
I think it's still good, but I still think, like, I would still put Airplane above it. I would still put Airplane as like funnier.
That is like, easier to grasp because of its Western background, I guess. But
it's just so, it's very simple, but it's just so like joke after joke after joke, and it all makes sense. Like, it's all very like straightforward. But there's also stuff you can miss, and so it like when you can watch it over again, it's like, oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the humor from Monty Python went over my head when I was a kid, and it was hard to, like, honestly, the film quality wasn't that high either. So maybe it was a part of the recording or a part of the tape I had, and it was hard to like what did they say? I can't understand or see what was going on. A lot of the skits made sense because they were obvious, like running up to the castle wall to siege it with Lancelot. Like, that was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing there. Okay, but some of the jokes, the spoken jokes, I was like, what did he say? Like, what?
But it's even the non-spoken ones where, like, the subtitles at the beginning, where it's like, oh, we have fired the previous person who fired the previous person, and now the following subtitles will be done
in Spanish.
Or yeah, or like something. Yeah, something stupid. I can't remember what the exact joke is, but yeah, it's like really, and then it just goes like into like full epilepsy mode, and it's a lot easier to understand though than the Meaning of Life, which just. Yeah, it's just.
Oh yeah, like Meaning of Life, and like for someone who isn't used to like British accents.
The thing where it's like, where is that fishy fish? Where could that fish be? It's like, what is happening?
Okay, well, this is going to be, what, a 15-minute? Let me check. 16-minute video. So I watched the first few minutes. The voice is not perfect. I'm not a big fan of the voice, so it's hard to watch for me.
On a scale of 1 to Burger King foot lettuce.
Oh boy.
One step above Burger King foot lettuce.
It's like, because I feel like that last video was quite Burger King foot lettuce vibes. You know, where it's like Sauron made the ring.
Well, with that voice, because he was like an announcer, he could have just been saying anything, and it doesn't matter. Like he just
That's Squarespace sponsorship.
yeah, he just jumped into cell.
That was impressive. How his tone of voice didn't change at all.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it was like Squarespace was part of the lore of Lord of the Rings.
And now we're going to watch how to make a website, and websites
then
are good.
Sauron made a website. But they were able to eventually break in to Helm's Deep. Now, if only they'd had protection like NordVPN, you can protect yourself from the dark forces of evil by signing up with NordVPN.
It's always a joke to hear
One
these guys.
VPN to rule them all.
Oh,
One VPN. Oh God, the VPNs are a trap, and there's like a VPN that's using the fact that people buy the other VPNs so that they can control all of the other people who use VPNs. Whoa, the lord of the VPN.
it's like they're leasing their servers out to everyone else, and they secretly control it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so may as well get started here. We got a few super chats going. Joe Crazy, thank you. Digimon Frontier as a show was bad, but the English OP kind of slaps. Okay,
It's a vibe.
you gotta like those OPs, man. If you don't like the first 10 seconds of whatever you're about to watch, you may as well not like it, and that's why.
There's like so many of those Japanese anime openings. Just like pure gold.
It's amazing,
especially
because
80s, 90s.
Yeah, we had the 90s North American, was it Viz Media who translated?
Yes, Viz Media.
And it was such, like, it's not bad, but compared to the original Japanese, like, I'd rather listen to the Japanese one. It's a lot cooler. And this is like a girls' show, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to watch it anyway. I don't really care. Here is Jake the Surgeon. Why on Arceus's Green Earth do these people exist? Yu Yu Hakusho is a great series, and it being examined by these smooth brains boils my blood. This is, whatever you want to read into a show is cool. I don't care. But if you start translating it to modern day philosophies or politics, this is where we're like, wait a second, what are you trying to do? What's the point of this video? Do you just want to make a video and you like anime, and on your brain happens to be, what is this? The election because it was in December. Like what's going on? What is happening with America these days with people and their passions and politics? It's always a spectator sport for the rest of the world. We're just watching you guys going, okay, yeah. Sarah Silverman says it's okay for transvestites to compete in female Olympics or whatever. There's all these men just crushing these girls and weightlifting and powerlifting. You're like, okay, you guys think so? All right. Joe Crazy. The only things I remember from the Digimon movie was the Digi Rap and All Stars by Smash Mouth. So those are all.
Oh yeah, they do play All Stars.
They had that. They had 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies.
Yes.
And they had the song, which isn't available on Spotify, and it annoys me, is Run Around by Jason Radford, I want to say. It's like, you run around, we run around, we're all gonna run around. Yeah, that's it. Absolute tune. But it's not available on Spotify. And I'm annoyed.
So I'm assuming this was all in the Japanese version as well, all the licensed music.
I think so, because I think it was like the one that we got, the English version is like an amalgamation of like multiple things. So it's weird. I don't know if it's the same in Japan. I feel like it's like a weird edit. compared to what they got in Japan.
It is interesting to have American music licensed for Japanese shows, either for the Japanese original or when they're trying to bring it over. It makes more sense to bring it over, but that involves more than just a translation team. That involves a production team saying, okay, we got to massage this for the audience. We got to get some proper music going. And to actually know the music and how it could work, and to spend the money to get the money. So it's a lot of effort to get those two. I'm sure it's not cheap to license.
Yeah. I think there are some jokes in the Digimon dub that are better than the original. That are better than the original Japanese. That are like funnier.
You know, sometimes it works out. Sometimes there are some translation teams that figure out how to lip sync stuff to different dialogue, so it sounds better, and it changes.
Ghost stories.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of
Ghost stories dub. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Not
of
because you're a rabbit, but because you're black. That's like my motto in life, you know. That comes up a lot, you know.
I'm trying to think of the Persona animations where they say specific things about women's bodies or this or that, and they don't do that in the original Japanese, just because it's more funny for the actors to say it. And saying, I think it was about Naoto's breasts, because that's when they go to the hospital to see if everyone's okay. And one of the characters is not human, and there's like nothing in his body. So the x-ray shows nothing. And they're like, what the hell? And they're showing, well, how about everyone else? Then what's her, Rise checks out the specs for Naoto's body and says, what? You're stacked. She's like, what? Did they say that? In the Japanese? I don't think so. Probably not. Anyway, Kenji's all freaking out anyway, so that's normal. Jake the Surgeon, watch as this Philistine tries to twist Hiei or Yusuke's upbringing. I wouldn't be surprised.
We will see.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've actually watched it. But,
the basic premise of the show is guy is a delinquent, guy saves kid from car or truck or whatever it was, dies, goes to afterlife. Afterlife guy, king says, okay, I need your help. You're going to go figure out how to solve other problems with the spirit realm.
But the whole thing is, the whole reason they have to do that is because, so Yusuke wants to get back to his body.
Right.
And they didn't expect him to do that because they thought it was out of character for him to sacrifice himself. So the whole point is that they thought that that wasn't the kind of thing that he would do. So he basically wasn't supposed to die there because they basically thought that they knew what his personality was like and that they had this prediction of how things were going to be, so they weren't expecting him to be dead. So they kind of were able to make this deal. So it's like, okay, well, you need to do this stuff and then we'll let you get back in your body, basically. That, at least at the start, is how it goes, sort of.
Oh yeah, the rest of the show is all about fighting and all kinds of
it's almost, I know there's the Dark Tournament arc specifically, but it almost feels like it's all tournament arc, you know. It almost feels like it's just tournament.
Yeah, that's like the thing that the remember Yu Yu Hakusho for, the tournament, and anything afterwards is just like I'd rather forget about it.
That's the highlight. It is the peak of tournament arcs, or it's like at least one of the most influential, I think, in terms of tournament arcs. I suppose Dragon Ball Z and even like the original Dragon Ball obviously had tournaments.
But yeah.
But the Dark Tournament arc really, I think it perfected something, you know. The fucking Irish guy. The fucking Irish character. Oh, I'm gonna... I can't even do like an Irish accent, even though I'm not from the right place. I'm not from the stereotypical like Irish place.
You can't do an Irish impression of an American guy or Canadian who is pretending to be Irish.
Oh no.
But dubbing a Japanese anime.
It's too many layers.
Where do I fit in?
Bigora, 'tis another potato famine.
There we go.
How are we going to make our poutine? I don't know. Oh, okay.
Potato. Yes.
All right. Here's a donation. Thank you, Extra Toxic Male. Fantastic name. Hello, Toxic Masculine panel. Hello. Thank you and welcome. Always great to be part of the Toxic Masculine conglomerate of other guys out there who are just so freaking venomous. We are oozing Toxicity. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. I just walk by and just flowers just start wilting. You know, they just
Has
feel
an
it.
AoE
They're just
effect.
Like, oh god. If you come too close to me, you'll just get sick immediately.
Oh yeah, that's perfect in this times of day when everyone's wearing masks. Like, perfect.
And it's like, oh no, I've got COVID. No. It's just my toxic masculinity.
This is natural. This is completely natural, folks. There's nothing you can do about it. All right, good to go. I think we're ready to start. Let's do it. As soon as I load it up. Okay. I skipped a bit of the intro because it's annoying.
We thank you for that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hats Off. I'm your host and childhood best friend, the.
But he's wearing a hat.
It's
How is it hats off if he's wearing a hat? He's lies.
God damn. We got him.
I'm already.
We don't need to go any further.
Debunked.
The logic is not working. Like, why is it happening? Maybe he's.
You have been debunked.
Maybe he's going to be taking off multiple hats because it's hats plural. So.
Wow.
I've been watching a lot of anime to relax during these stressful times. Sometimes the world feels a little bit better after stuffing your brain full of isekai, but I've also been on the lookout for some more classic shonen to watch as well. If you don't know, shonen is basically manga and anime made with the intention to appeal to boys. And it's one of the most popular genres out there, with huge juggernauts of the industry like One Piece, Dragon Ball, and Mistake. I'm just kidding, Kubo-sensei, please, I just wish it was better. But thinking of...
Everyone knows that joke. Who knows anime, so, okay.
Wow. Bleach used to be so respected.
You know what?
It used to be so like, you know what? It's good. It's holding its own, you know.
Going
And
to
then
make
it
a
was
return?
just like, oh. I mean, the manga's over.
Yeah. Well, that's the
But-
point.
The anime will be making a return, and hopefully
okay.
they'll be doing things better than the manga ended. Because the ending of the manga and like the what do you call it? What's it called? Like the 1,000-year blood war arc or whatever it's called. It was very rushed and things, and I think Tite Kubo is going to be working closely, I think, with the anime studio on it.
Really? Well,
So we'll see.
the story just reduced itself to the power of friendship, essentially, and I'm doing
A lot of
everything.
people, yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that it was only good in the Soul Society arc. I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot of good stuff after that. I do think after. I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to spoil, but I mean, it has been out for a while.
Right.
But after, I guess, like the fake Karakura Town arc, I think is. You know what I fucking mean. The part where they beat the big bad guy.
At the time, the other biggest anime that was being shown was Naruto, and there was always fights saying which one was better. Why would you watch Naruto? Just watch Bleach. And for a time, there were a lot of fans like that. They were like, yeah, I'd just rather watch Bleach. Naruto is all filler anyway. But then there was some Bleach filler, and then you're like, okay, well, I mean,
yeah, there definitely
Wasn't like the Bleach fillers running for like 50 episodes?
I mean, Naruto had that as well. I mean, Naruto.
Yeah,
had, like,
it had.
But I think so. Bleach had the Bount arc, which was the filler, and it also had the Zanpakuto arc, where like it was like about their weapons being like they already are kind of alive, but it was like they were literally like characters and stuff, and it was kind of weird. But one thing I'll give Bleach, like the sense of style of Bleach, like the certain amount of like minimalism in the designs compared to like Naruto, where character designs were a little bit more like, I guess, like complicated in terms of a lot more like detailed and stuff. But I think Bleach characters were really iconic, like it just the way they're like really really stylized. You know, everything was like every frame was just like, wow, look at that frame.
Oh yeah,
it's such a nice frame.
It had a psychedelic, almost goth, and as you said, minimalist aesthetic for the architecture, but also very strange architecture as well. So they tried to play around with the afterlife imagery without going over the top, and it worked. I thought that the style was unique, and you watch Bleach, like you're watching Bleach.
And the soundtrack Oh my god, the soundtrack is so
Soundtrack
fucking
is
good.
fucking amazing.
Well, this is
All of the openings were so good and the endings, but even just the soundtrack during the show, like just the in-show soundtrack was just so
and this
good.
is kind of the focus of, does it look good? Does it sound good? And you don't have much of an argument. Does the story work with you? And for most cases, people are like, there's more drama here and there because of the friendships and the feelings and this and that, but it doesn't really amount to anything, which is the problem. And the plot was its own thing. The character relationships were its own independent.
Very basic, like very basic.
Whereas stories like Naruto was all about community, was all about having all these friends and fighting.
A lot more going on, a lot more threads and things.
Well, there was an actual plot that went somewhere, whereas opposed to Bleach just sort of ended, and you're like, oh.
Basically, how Bleach arcs went is one of the main characters gets captured. They have to go and get them, save them from being captured and rescue them. And then basically they get them back, and then a different person gets captured, and then they have to go and save that person. And it's basically the exact same like plot. And essentially it'll be like the bad guy has a certain number of underlings, and they basically fight them one at a time, and just sort of go basically go up the ranks of the bad guys, fighting them basically one at a time, and then they get to the big bad guy, and then have a big fight.
And the bad guys were interesting.
But I think one thing in the manga as well is that it's complete opposite of One Piece. Whereas like One Piece has like so much detail, like in the manga panels, like so much every background character and everything. But Bleach will have so many panels where it's just the character and just pure white in the background, and you can go through like a whole chapter and barely see any background, maybe like one establishing shot, and then hardly any backgrounds for like the whole chapter.
Which is kind of sad, because there is a lot of great mangaka artists out there that do amazing everything, not just foregrounds and backgrounds, but action shots and cute shots and detailed close-up shots of action. So it's just, what involvement does the artist have? Are they passionate enough to continue the work? Because Bleach sometimes did not really. I don't know if they got someone else to fill in for him at a time, but you could tell there was a quality jump for some years.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is stylistic in terms of the backgrounds, like in terms of like, I'm just not gonna have a background here. Like I feel like part of it gave Bleach this sort of like ethereal feel to it.
Some of the settings make sense. Some of the afterlife settings make sense. You're like, all right, there wouldn't be much here. It's just a castle. You don't need all these details in the walls, it's fine. But other places like the psychedelic weird dimensions, you're just like, okay, there should probably be some more stuff going on. There should probably be some like rivers or something that was described.
I mean, there are very like kind of empty settings that it doesn't have that crazy world building of like Naruto and One Piece. It's sort of just like when you go to the Soul Society, it's basically like, okay, well, there's a society, and then there's like the place where all the Soul Reapers are, and that's pretty much it. And everywhere kind of looks the same. And then when they go to Hueco Mundo, it's basically just a big desert. And everything's very, very empty.
Okay, here's some super chats. Mike Testa, they are like the little fetus that could never be. Aw, what's going on there? What are you talking about?
What, Bleach?
I don't know.
No, we're talking about...
I think so. I'm not sure. Mike Testa is always challenging our narrative. We're not sure what he's talking about. Here is Francis Bordacopla. Thanks for the donation. Yu left toxic masculinity behind. It went lethal. Also, this band sounds like comic book guy from The Simpsons. Good lord. The voice is a bit jarring, but it's not horrible. It's just a bit like, gets on.
I could listen to the comic book guy from Simpsons, but this one is like, it's like, it sounds like the one that they made a parody of.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, let's get going.
Got me thinking about one of my favorites, Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, if you've never heard of Yu Yu Hakusho, I'm gonna give you a 5-minute head start before I come for you. But for the
Jesus Christ.
Dude, it's an anime. Calm down.
Very well then.
I want people to watch Babylon 5, but I'm not like getting angry.
I accept your wager.
I will come for you, and you will watch this show. I'm like, holy shit, man. Is it after or before dinner? Holy crap! Can I take a shower first? It's entertainment. Chill.
Rest of you, I'm sure you know it's the classic tale of a delinquent that dies saving a child, and is then given the job of spirit detective, wrangling evil demons, ghosts, and monsters. It was a huge hit, and even to this day, it's considered one of the greatest shonens ever. And a lot of that comes down to its incredibly strong cast of characters, like the cool, aloof Hiei, the ever-likable Kuwabara, and the refined but deadly Kurama. Even most of the side characters are memorable, but the character I want to focus on today is the main boy, our jerk with a heart of gold, Yusuke Urameshi. But instead of just diving into his journey...
So, yeah, speaking of... So if we're talking about toxic masculinity here, can we just talk about how all the women in this show will just like beat the shit out of all of the men in the show and just did not feel guilty about it at all? Like they'll just be like, "How dare you!" Bash, you know, like just fully.
We cannot put that in the spotlight, otherwise the narrative wouldn't work.
You know, it's like they don't feel any guilt at all. They're just like, no, oh, you've offended me, and just full putting their whole body behind it.
Yeah, no,
just
it's great.
slap,
It's not just the women though. The guys like you,
What the heck?
he knocks out women all the time. It's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
But it's
like you're fighting for your life. It's like, yeah, you're gonna beat the shit out of each other. Yeah, you may as well. So I like the idea that the Japanese don't give a crap about any of this nonsense. They want to show people fighting because it's a fight. The show is focused on fighting. It's like if Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z didn't have fighting in it properly, it'd be like, what the hell is this? I want to see fists connect with faces. I want to see legs. Well, arguably some of the animation is not, it's too fast. They don't actually animate that. So just all these like hundreds of kicks a second. Like what's going on? I can't see it.
Yeah, watch Dragon Ball for the philosophical messages, you know.
Oh yeah.
I do love the idea that you should actually, the proper way to watch Dragon Ball to see how it actually looks to bystanders is to actually just speed up the episodes like a shit ton.
No,
So
it's
that
actually gonna be 5 minutes.
This whole fight, this whole like multiple episode fight, yeah, this actually takes like 10 seconds IRL. So you just like speed it up and they're having the conversations at that speed as well. Like they don't stop to have the conversations. They're just speaking that fast. You know, there's like, you know, it's like Vegeta, you were the Prince Saiyan, and it's like all of this full monologue, but he's fully spitting bars. You know, he's like saying it that fast because it's all like sped up.
Here's mic test again. The guy in the video is what I'm referring to. Oh, okay. Okay, we're at 2 minutes. Doing good. Let's go.
Any of coolest demon slayer to ever rock a pompadour. I instead want to explore how Yusuke's personal character growth, especially in the Dark Tournament arc, is a direct attack on toxic masculinity. Now, a lot of people seem to think that when people talk about toxic masculinity, that they are attacking the idea of masculinity itself. But that...
Okay, well...
Where do you think they get that idea from, you fucking Egypt?
You know, you have words that have like
Christ.
adjective, noun. It's like, when
They
you're-
just get this idea from nowhere. Fuck off, dude. Like, you know exactly where it fucking comes from.
Can you
dude.
imagine if there was
Calm the fuck off.
a term that was coined feminine or toxic femininity
Toxic femininity, right?
or something like that, and it's like, oh, you just hate women. It's like, well, I'm attacking them, yes, but I don't hate them. It's
Like, it's just so disingenuous, you know? He's just like, how do you not know where people get this impression from? Like, it's not just assuming that a person who would use that phrase just hates man. It's things like the things I've seen called toxic masculinity is so like asinine. Like one time I saw like, if you won't date a sex worker, then that's toxic masculinity. And it's like, holy shit, man. Holy fucking shit, dude. Like, if someone's like, oh yeah, by the way, I fuck man for money, I'd be kind of like, I don't think this is gonna work, you know. But no, that's toxic. That's the standard, right? That kind of thing is what, to some people, is what they mean. So when they pull this sort of, oh no, it's not masculinity, it's just this specific aspects of masculinity that are toxic. But I mean, this is the kind of thing.
It's as if
this is how asinine it gets.
Whoever coined the term created this blanket statement opportunity for people to start adding their own stuff into the bucket and going, oh, you know what? My friend Bob does stuff like that. That's toxically masculine. It's like, no, you just don't like what he did for whatever reason. It could be a dumb reason too, because you just don't like the way he looks at you or whatever. Like there could be multiple reasons why you're uncomfortable with someone doing something, and they happen to be male, and you call it toxic. That's it. It's something you don't like that a guy does, which is the most open-ended thing to say. You're just being toxic, Smud. It's like, no, you're being a moron, and you're not defining your term. Say I'm a egotistical brainiac or some sort of jerk, or be specific with what I'm doing. That's much more helpful than having a blanket term like toxically masculine. Because maybe I am. I just don't know what you mean. And if once you use a specific term for criticism or critique or something to do with something I can improve upon, then you're helping me. Then you're helping others. You're not just calling me a name. Because all it is a fancy name for I don't like you. You're bad. You've done something or said something bad, and it's part of the nature of mankind or the nature of males everywhere. It's like, no, it's not. I'm very sorry. There's no catch-all term. There are some male behaviors like chasing after women, which are considered bad. It's like, no. If men don't do it, women won't either. It's just not part of their nature. So anyway, I find it very silly. Here's some more super chats, and we'll keep going. Joe Crazy, Digimon the movie was 3 different films cut together, which is why it is so disjointed. It also switches focus between the kids from the first and second series. Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a mess.
Yeah, the second series with the, what do you call it? The weird like blue one. What do you call it? Where he's got like a metal like fin kind of. It kind of looks like a shark fin. And he's got like hot rod flames and shit.
Okay.
You like the Digimon, like the main guy in the second series has.
Okay. Then there was the guy was blue, yeah, right. And then there was the chick with the pink dress or the red dress, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Bunch of other characters, very, very primary looking colors. I never watched the movie, so I can't say, but I do remember the show a bit.
It's kind of like Summer Wars.
Really? Huh.
There's a lot. Well, the same guy directed Summer Wars, who directed the Digimon movie.
Interesting.
And you can literally see screenshots from it, and it's like, oh, this looks like it's from Summer Wars. Yeah, and it kind of has a similar plot almost, where they have like this battle in the digital world, and if you watch Summer Wars, it's like, oh, hang on a minute, this is kind of like the Digimon movie.
Interesting.
Here's. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that's.
I will have to rewatch Summer Wars because I did like it. Francis Ford Coppola. From what Dollface is saying about the DB conversations, everyone should be talking like Speed Racer. Oh well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of episodes where nothing happens for 3 episodes, and that's the entire fight. And they're talking about being stronger and faster and this and that. And you're like, okay, yeah.
Speed Racer, he needs this money. He needs to win the race and get this money so that he can pay for his sister's surgery, or else she's gonna die. And then he just speeds up. He's just like, no, I can't just slow down. He just speeds up. Speed Racer's a psycho. He just doesn't care. He just
wants to race. That's it.
Yeah.
He just wants to race. Yeah, he's just there.
It's even like, I think that's scene when he shuts down.
It's not about morality, right? It's not about good or evil. He just wants to race, you know.
Kind of like Goku, with fire.
Yeah. Whoa, bruh. For a moment.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. His voice is like putting my testicles into the jaws of a Dunkleo Dunkleosteus? Is that a dinosaur? Dunkleosteus. I'm assuming it's some sort of animal.
Must have gone extinct.
Okay. Why? I don't. Could have chosen any animal, but I guess the extinct ones are the best. Okay. How do you know what your testicles feel like in that specific jaw shape? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let's get going.
Couldn't be from the truth. There is nothing wrong about the traditional ideas of manliness. Being strong, being tough, but toxic masculinity is when those ideas are used both as an excuse to harm others and yourself.
Here's Trump harming Oprah Winfrey, and oh, look at that! What a
shaking hands.
What a horrible guy! Look at him go. My God!
Like, it's okay to want to be strong, but it's not okay to think that you expressing your emotions makes you weak.
Where does this idea come from?
Is that what toxic masculinity is? Where guys don't express something? Okay, that makes no sense. If you're trying to tell me...
It is whatever they say it is, for whatever argument they're making, whatever
Yeah, but you can't have the absence of behavior a negative connotation or negative trait. It's like, oh, I didn't say thank you. Or, it's like, but did I do anything wrong? No, but you should have said thank you. Well, that's a nice thing to do, but you don't have to do it. Or saying, I like the fact that you look pretty, or I like the fact that this XYZ happened. It's like, I don't have to do that. It doesn't make me a bad person. It makes me a neutral person. I'm just there, observing, going about my business. This is a very strange take. If this
Mom, I am literally just vibing.
Yeah, I'm just standing here. You should help her.
I'm literally just vibing here right now.
You should hold the door. It's like, no, I shouldn't.
Remove yourself from my vibing area.
I just want to stand. What's wrong with that?
I'm literally just standing, bro.
What a strange take. Okay. Here is Francis Bordacopolo again. Forgive me for getting heavy, but it sounds like this YouTuber suffered from a debilitatingly toxic lack of masculinity in his formative years. Okay. My man needs to stop hating himself.
What makes you say that?
And start improving himself. I don't know. I don't know what he said as a thing to be wary of. So guys not expressing emotions apparently is suddenly...
I think a lot of this bullshit of like, no, guys need to express their emotions is what it really ends up as is guys should express emotions like the way women express emotions, or else I can't understand it. You know, it's I've always had this said to me, but I've also always had women being, oh, you're so angry. Why are you being so angry? Oh, why are you being so aggressive? Oh, you don't have to shout it. You don't have to shout at me. It's like, you know, why are you at the soup store?
Yeah, all the negative emotions, those are bad. Don't say those. But when they're good, you're okay. When it makes you feel weak, like, why would I want to?
They just want you to cry, right?
Yeah,
they just want. Oh, why do you cry like a woman?
What do I get by being weak? Could someone tell me what's the benefit of telling people I'm weak and showing off how I'm scared? What does that do?
You can open a Patreon so people.
It's like the only valid showing emotion is just like breaking down in tears, like, and anything short of that is, well, why are you not showing your emotions? Why are you not expressing your emotions?
There are reasons why boys are taught and raised this way, and why they must become this way in adulthood. Why they have this stoic stiff upper lip, or whatever you want to call that demeanor. It's all about the dating game. It's all about being strong and healthy and being able to take the hit, because it's our job to protect women.
And there's also like what people say they want versus what they actually act on. You know, like women saying, "Oh no, I want a guy who's really sensitive and emotional," and then they don't actually end up with someone like that because they don't actually want it. They just know that that's sort of a trendy thing.
Oh yeah,
right?
they want the acknowledgement. To acknowledge their every freaking move, every breath they take. Whenever,
right, like, look how superior, how morally superior I am by, eschewing this supposed standard.
Yeah, they don't expect you
They
to.
really aren't like that.
They don't expect you to read their minds or moods, but it would be nice if you had that capacity and they expect something along the lines. It's like, listen, I'm not a psychologist. I can see you're in a mood. All you got to do is express your feelings so I know what's going on. And that's all they want, a little bit of nudge, like a little tap on the shoulder saying, are you okay? What's wrong?
I'm just so fucking annoyed of people being like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm literally thinking about nothing.
Yeah.
I'm literally not thinking about anything. I am not upset. I'm literally just, wow. What even is a square, bro? Like, I'm literally like, that's literally the level of thought in my mind. But they'll look at me and go like, oh, Liz, are you okay? You seem kind of quiet. You know, why are you? You know, you seem kind of distraught. You know, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to express it? It's like, what do you? No, there is nothing there. But they will project it. They'll project it and assume that you're holding back something.
Yeah.
All the fucking time this happens. It's like, no. I'm literally thinking about nothing. What are you thinking about? What do you think about? Or like, and you know, and they're like, he never talks to me about what he's thinking about. He never tells me what he's thinking. You know.
It's kind of like at dinner or something. It's like, are you enjoying the meal? It's like, yeah, I am enjoying the meal. It's like, why aren't you like making facial expressions and making noises? It's like, I'm not a weirdo. It's like, I don't do that. I enjoy it. I'm quiet and I'm contemplative and I'm just appreciating.
Unless you make like a selfie like every minute, you're not.
Oh yeah, you have to make a selfie.
Like, you're not alive.
Here's my second bite, and here's when I took a drink, and here's my beer. I love beer. Beer is, it's like, you're not a weirdo, okay?
Here's my shit in the toilet. My gigantic dump. Yeah.
Oh, it's strange. It's like if you're not constantly positive, there's something wrong with you. It's like, no, it's called just being and being content. There's nothing wrong with it.
There's like time for everything.
Yeah. Jake the Surgeon, imagine a 30-plus foot shark with an armored head and possibly the strongest bite of any animal ever. Okay, that's the creature you were referring to before. All right. I'm with you.
Is that like a creature from Sharknado?
Oh, no, that's not. No. Those aren't real sharks. I'm quite sure. Unless they were inspired by dinosaurs. I don't know. It could be. Who knows? I don't want to think about it. Here's the Bat Boy. Hey, Bat Boy. Goku isn't just careless like Speed. His countless intentional good deeds got him into heaven several times. It's an ongoing joke with Goku. I
think it's kind of stretching it in Super, though. I mean, it's kind of... He does do some fucking bullshit where it's like, no, you don't understand. I have to fight them at their strongest. It's like, but why though? Why do you have to do it like that? Why? And it's not because of his, you know, the goodness of his heart. It's because he wants to have fun, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that's in, you know, that basically is his character flaw, is that he will prioritize, I want to basically enjoy myself fighting. And I think it's like a character in Bleach, like Kenpachi, is sort of like taking that idea as well, but he's less sympathetic because he's not like the protagonist and he's not the hero and he's not really pretending to be or even trying to be, or he doesn't have this happy-go-lucky side to him. He's just like, yeah, I love fighting and violence. Violence is based. It's so epic.
He's so strong. He needs like a magical seal put on his face or whatever to keep him from
it's the seal
killing
to
people.
hold back his power, but also the bells on his hair is also a hindrance because it's so that you can hear him coming, so that you can react to him more easily. So that's also part of it, of the handicap. It's kind of an odd character. Usually you have the wise man or the experienced master who's always like comes out once in a while. He just comes out like for no reason. I'm just gonna fight now. Heard you're strong. I'm gonna fight you. Like, holy crap! You're a crazy man. He's so powerful. He never loses. Like, okay, this is nuts. He wants to draw out the fighting as long as possible. Yeah, he's so bored. Poor Kenpachi. Because like the fight is like an end in and of itself for him. It's just like, I just want to end. There's some dumb crap like that. Like he only holds the sword with one hand. And what if you hold it with two hands? It's like, no, it doesn't make a difference. I did. I mean, it kind of makes sense, though. I mean, in terms of like being able to hold back a strike. I mean, it makes sense.
It's just control. It's just about control. It's not about power.
But I think it's like at that level, that could be the edge. At that like level, that could be all the edge you need.
It's a silly thing.
That's the idea.
Anyway, Kenpachi's his own. It's funny to have a character like that just running around, just supremely strong and not caring about the plot. He just does stuff. He doesn't care. Just wants to fight. Odd scenario. Odd character to have in that sort of afterlife group club, whatever you want to call those guys. Anyway, let's keep going. Jake the Surgeon. Yusuke had no dad and a neglectful alcoholic mom. Literally no one properly raised him. So how did he become good? There's a good question. How did he learn to... Well, he was a delinquent, of course, but how did he...
Maybe he just do be like that, He just do be like that,
Heart of gold, out of nowhere. Just, I'm a nice guy.
Some people just do be like that, Some people just, it's not like this one way, like, well, if you have a bad childhood, then you'll be bad. Like, no.
Right.
Obviously not. Like, obviously, there's plenty of examples of great people who've come from very, like, poor circumstances or very, like, even abusive circumstances and have turned out very moral people, So it's... Some people are just like that,
All right, here is the Bat Boy. I've realized toxic masculinity with these people is because they feel rejected in some way by others. I don't know. I don't
want to psychologize too much.
Yeah, I don't know about
that. The big weenie poo-poo head.
Can you imagine...
rejected by society.
Well, not being with other guys or being friends with other guys and saying, oh, they're just being jocks or whatever, and that's a bad behavior, and therefore it's toxic. I can't really think of a scenario like that where you would be involved with someone unless it's like school or something. But then it's like, are you interested in doing the things they're doing? If you are, then you'll get along. If not, then, I mean, that's just normal. So I need specific examples from this guy as opposed to not expressing emotion. That's silly. That is bizarre.
I also don't really see how that's relevant to Yu Yu Hakusho, but whatever.
Well, let's see how Yu Yu Hakusho is somehow fixing this problem. I don't know.
Ingrained in our everyday society, with boys being looked down on when they express sadness or fear, or when they take up hobbies that aren't typically seen as manly, like art or cooking.
Who gives a fuck? Hang on. Who gives a fuck if someone takes up fucking cooking? Like, if a guy comes up to me, or if a guy comes up to you, and it's like, yeah, I've started getting really into cooking, you'd be like, oh, hell yeah. I've never seen this. Where it's like, oh no, you can't cook, that's good. Like, what the fuck? What are you on about, bro? Yeah. Do people think Gordon Ramsay is a pussy because he cooks? What? Like, I just don't think this is relevant.
Or rather, do you think he's non-toxic because he is a chef? Which is like,
this is not relevant at all. This like, oh, well, boys aren't allowed to cook. Like, what the fuck are you on about, bro? Like, they certainly have to cook because Lord fucking knows that modern women aren't gonna fucking do it. Lord fucking knows the modern 20-something female isn't gonna be. You can't rely on them to fucking cook.
Of all the chefs,
think of anything more manlier than like going out and grill some meat. Fuck you, man.
When you talk about like Gordon Ramsay, at least in American TV, his American shows, he's really, really aggressive. So it's like, whoa, dude, you got to calm the hell down. And compared to his other shows he's great. He's great with kids. He's great in UK. He's great in Europe. He's great all throughout Australia whenever he's there. So I don't, like, if there's someone who's like, okay, there's a guy who's too aggressive who does actually cook, Gordon Ramsay. I wouldn't want him near me. He's kind of scary. TV version of him. I'm sure in person is great.
Yeah. And it's like, I live in a pretty fucking conservative place, in Northern Ireland. It's pretty fucking conservative. And I've never fucking heard this. And
what's up with art? What does that have anything to do with
it's
being a guy? I don't get it.
It's fucking everywhere. Like just name like How many famous like female artists there are? I think like male artists just like outweigh them in numbers. Just like when you think about like the classics.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily. I mean, it's weird, sort of like historically, yeah, like painting was actually more of like a male thing. Or
oh yeah, it's not just painting, but even cooking. Like the top chefs, the top artists, the top inventors have all been male.
Architects.
Yeah, creativity is not just painting and architecture. It's making stuff, and guys tend to have a more natural inclination to engineering or the arts, whereas women have a more inclination to the social sciences or the social aspects, the softer stuff. That's not a universal. That's just on average. We have these natural inclinations for women to be nurses, as opposed to doctors. Some of them become doctors too. But I think this is a study that we talked about years ago when Jordan Peterson was talking about the natural inclination for men to be in the sciences and the maths, and women to be in the social sciences and the biological sciences. And with everything being equal, opportunity being equal, it was actually more focused that way, that women were going into becoming nurses and men were going into becoming engineers. And that's just life. It's nothing to do with being good or bad at your job or showing off feminine traits. It's like, no, it's just how they want, what they want to do with their lives. Let guys draw. I don't care.
I'm just struggling to see this idea of like, oh, well, men are looked down upon for doing these things. It's like, surely you can think of a better example. I'm trying to think of one. I'm trying to think of like, what is a better example where it would be like, oh, you're doing that? That's a girl's thing. Dude, I'm honestly trying to think.
Yeah.
Maybe like chick lit. Like if you read like fucking, cheesy kind of trashy
Harlequin romance, yeah.
That would be like kind of a really good, that'd be kind of, I could see that being like really.
It is rare. It is
really,
rare to see.
You're reading that, like.
Yeah, that was the joke in As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. Like he was writing Harlequin romance novels, and if you look at all the top authors, they're like 80-90% women. There might be a husband and wife pair, but it's almost all women.
Yeah.
So
I think it's interesting how fantasy is dominated by men, and I think it makes sense in a way because it's the sort of same thing with children, what toys they play with. The way like boys will play with cars and tools and basically objects, right? And women will play with dolls and basically anything that is like people, right? That it's like basically people or to do with working with people or any of that kind of thing, or role playing with people. Whereas like boys are more interested in how things work, like how objects work and how like the mechanics of things and things. And I think that's why fantasy appeals more to men, because as much as you can talk about, it's all about the characters, and it's like, is it though? Like, is the reason that fantasy is fascinating about the characters? Like any genre has characters, but what is it that makes fantasy? And it's the world and how things work, and the fact that there's magic, and the fact that there's magic systems, and the fact that there's all these different
races, species,
created hierarchies and all of these systems, and that's sort of the things that appeal to a certain aspect of parts of a person's brain that is sort of emphasized in males.
Yeah, as much as
the same thing where autism is kind of the extreme of that, where it's all about systematizing. It's all about how can I sum this up in terms of the systems, and that's sort of the appeal of fantasy, is thinking about the systems and objects and the items and the magic and all that sort of things.
As much as I don't like belaboring about fantasy being redundant and derivative and this and that, there is an appeal to the whole Tolkien inspiration of elves and dwarves and dragons and dungeons and castle. Like that appeals to many people for whatever reason. And that's why the genre still persists, because we want to read more about how can we tell this story in a new light? How can we make a game out of these sorts of elements? Can we make another version of elves versus dark elves in whatever context? People like it. So so long as people keep demanding these things, they're going to keep getting it. We'll see that in manga and anime and cartoons and Western comics and what have you. So it's not
But I
going
think it's
away.
the reason why the like the power scaling community exists.
The power
why that's
scaling
just a popular sort of pastime is like, oh, would this character be this other character, and and it's like there's sort of the high art snob of like, oh well, no, it should be about the characters and the meaning and the themes. But then there's the actual fans of the franchise who are going, have endless discussions about whether a character would be able to beat another character in single combat given all these certain conditions, and if they had a particular item and all of this stuff,
All right. I mean, that's interesting to speculate above, but I never took part in that. I can't think of, but that's why we have some YouTube channels that do that. They do analysis of everyone's abilities and skills and what they've done in this comic book.
I like the light Yagami versus Batman
one.
I like that one.
That would be over rather soon.
I don't know. You would think it would be easy, right, for him to work it out, but then if he's often what do you call it in Japan, if Light's in Japan and like Batman's in Gotham, and it's like, how long would it really take? And he'd have to know that he was onto him. Like he'd have to know.
Well, that's the thing. Batman would never announce his I'm coming after you, Joker.
Right,
No.
he wouldn't. Yeah, so Batman wouldn't, because then it would only be a matter of time before Light would go, all of these times where Batman has showed up and tried to do something, Bruce has been on a trip. This Bruce guy, this famous Bruce guy has just happened to have nobody's seen him in that entire time when Batman was doing this thing. And also, who else could have the resources and everything?
They play around with that joke a lot in a lot of the comics. There's even brutaler versions of Batman, not just the one who laughs, but there's another one. Was it Gotham Knights Batman? Like he kills people. He outright kills everyone that commits crimes. Like he's brutal, and the police go after him. They capture him. They seize all his assets. Commissioner Gordon figures it out. It must be Bruce Wayne. They seize all his assets, and what was I think they throw him in jail. I can't remember the entire story, but it's like, oh yeah, obviously it's him. So yeah, there's got to be more around it, but all these fan discussions are all what ifs. It's like, okay, that's fine. It's Batman, the most popular character I can think of in modern media. So probably will be for another 100 years until we get a new story to talk about. All right, let's keep going. Jake the Surgeon, cook for your woman and watch her become wetter than the great flood of Noah. Just be nice, guys. Be nice. Obviously, cooking is good, but just
split that flood like the Red Sea, like Moses. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Was written in the Red Sea Scrolls.
Oh God, not the Red Sea. No. Oh God, you don't want it to be in the Red Sea.
Here's Francis Ford Coppola. This man is under the impression anyone with a healthy sense of esteem cares whether cooking is masculine or not. This man sounds like he's in his 30s, but he reasons like a child. Okay, well.
I mean, this sounds like one of those fucking, like this stereotypical bully in like an early 2000s, like teenage, like high school movie, like fucking, I don't know, like one of those, like Clueless or like something like that, or like Mean Girls. Or those kind of movies where it's like, just a stereotypical jock bully. I'm like just skeptical of this even being real. Like it just seems like it just made up.
Well, this is the thing. This was made last year in December. This is after the election. America's reeling from 4 years of Trump or whatever. Obviously, this guy believes in toxic masculinity and other left-leaning words. So, hey, I like anime. I like talking about politics. I'm going to make a video. And this is what came up, I think. So, gives him 10, 15 minutes to talk about his anime, throw in a dig about, I don't know, Trump, and then, I don't know, sell some Squarespace, whatever.
I was pretty quick to get into Trump.
Yeah. And it was him just on a talk show. It's just him walking into a talk show and shaking hands. Like, that's not toxically masculine. That's just greeting people.
I saw a bit of Trump on. I was watching. 101 most. What is it? 101 objects that changed the world or something.
Oh, really?
And one of them was the necktie, and Donald Trump just comes on and just shows his like collection of neckties and how important the necktie is.
Really?
Oh yeah, Smud Yokai wants in.
Oh, he does? No,
Yeah.
No problem. Sorry if I missed him. I can't keep track of some of the chats. Alrighty.
The end of the age of Trump.
It's not going to end. It's going to keep going. It's never going to end.
Of course not. Like, what are they gonna do if he's not on the news?
Well, they got to bring up something to talk about, but even then, he's going to run probably in 2024? Probably. Pretty much a given these days. They're still talking about him.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can do it.
Let's do it.
All right, one more super chat. We'll get going. Avery, thank you, sir. He may be trying to distort what the nuclear family is now to what it was 100 years ago, where the man works and the woman cooks and cleans. It's times have changed, but I've met people who know food and don't cook, and that's fine because they go out to eat or they have a wife and they work around food or they work around in resources and gathering and this and that. Fine. Whatever your lifestyle is. Maybe you go to eat healthy at McDonald's all day. I don't know. You can do it that way. There's all kinds of people, different lifestyles. So, yeah, I think it's great to learn to cook and to get cheap groceries that are fresh at your local mom and pop shop or corner store. It's great. There's all kinds of great markets out there, but not everyone does. Not everyone lives next to those. Or if they're urban or suburbanites or out in the boonies, you might have access to certain produce. So it really depends on what you've got. But it just comes down to, do you want to save money? Do you want to feed yourself a certain way? Do you want a certain diet? That's all it comes down to. So you figure it out yourself. Not asking everyone to pick up every food magazine they come across and learn every recipe. But
Do it.
It's fun.
Learn them all.
But you don't have to do it. I mean, you could survive off
Too late.
beans
I
and
Learn to
cans.
cook. This is a threat.
Or you're a horrible, horrible person if you don't know how to cook. It's like, no.
You're literally just a bad person.
Like, I don't know. Like I think it
don't-
naturally comes when you have to live alone for at least a year. Like, there's no way you're always going to go out for takeout. Like, no fucking way.
But you can
Eventually, you will have to use the kitchen for something.
it's a natural thing because if you go to get groceries, right, and you don't know how to cook, so you get like some vegetables and some meats, and you're like, what do I do? You don't know. So you just start eating the raw ingredients, or you cook the raw ingredients. And you're like, all right, this is an onion. Okay, maybe I can combine this with the mushrooms. Maybe I can combine this with the beans. Maybe mash some potatoes. I've heard of that before. Like, it's just basic stuff.
You just have to not be afraid to use your oven.
Well, that's part of it, yeah.
Like at first, like I didn't want to like do something wrong, so I was like, I'm just not gonna do it. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, just throw it on and see if it comes out. And then it came out, and then eventually it started to taste good.
It's kind of like, do I use the right pan for this? Because some pans you can't heat up too high. They break the pan.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with the
Well,
high heat.
I have Gotham steel pans, so I don't have to worry about that.
Steel.
But you see, I never had that problem because I only have one kind of pan. So
Oh, it's cast iron.
yes,
It's like indestructible.
if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna like.
I like the
okay.
Gotham steel because of the way that the food just kind of floats on it. It just slides around. Like you don't have cleaning it is so easy.
Really? Cast iron, you can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't clean.
Oh yeah. Like it's actually fun to cook on it because I like to use a lot of olive oil. So I'll throw the olive oil on there and then I just like slide the steak around and it just slides so easily that it's just fun. And it's easy to flip on it too.
That's cool. I know that there's a platina you get on cast iron that you have to be careful to keep because that's part of the flavor when you do cook things on top of it. And it's a kind of a not a hassle, but you have to be knowledgeable of how to clean your cast iron properly, or else you can get bacteria. But You could burn anything. You could get a blowtorch and burn it off anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. So it's pretty amazing. Those giant, 20 kilo, those giant cast iron pans. You can put anything. You can kill a man with those things. They're amazing.
Put that on the box,
You can use it as a self-defense weapon. It can stop a bullet. Yeah, okay. Anyway, 3 minutes in. Let's keep going.
Everyone know how to do. Society is dumb like that. But in Yu Yu
Oh yeah, I forgot to
Hakusho,
get on watch
we
together.
get to see a character whose good heart and support group helps him to break free from the cycle of toxic masculinity. Yusuke is a punk kid. He gets into fight, messes with girls, and skips school to smoke. He does this because he wants to be cool.
Because
he wants
he's
to be
based.
tough.
So are you saying
he's
toxically masculine?
I don't think he's doing it to impress anyone. I don't get that impression.
He just wants to be awesome. That's all. It isn't really anything.
I don't
big
get the
behind it.
impression that he's doing it to impress other people. Like
Never in the
what am I
show was
watching
it
it for?
mentioned.
But it doesn't
Like, I
seem
get-
that he's like, damn, I want them to look up to me, or I want them to think I'm cool. Like, I don't see that in like the subtext or anything.
Yeah, it's like the first episode where all this happens, where he gets killed.
Yeah.
So it's like,
The other 105
If anything, it
episodes,
looks
however.
like. I mean, it looks like other people look to him, see what is like. But I just don't get this impression. I just don't get the impression that he's just like, he's just trying to impress other people, and you don't have to be like this, Yusuke. You don't have to do that just to be cool. Like, no, he just is cool.
Yeah, he's
It's
just
something
that
you
way.
couldn't understand, sir.
he is a delinquent. That's what he does. This is the typical stereotype of a delinquent. He gets into fights. He skips school. He smokes. He chides girls. It's like, yeah, he does whatever he wants.
And dies.
And then he dies.
Yeah, he's literally just vibing, bro.
Most importantly, he becomes flat.
Man. And it's stuff like this that he thinks will make him a man, when in reality it's exactly these
what-
things that firmly plant him as a child.
Fuck are you on about?
So
Fuck are you on
skipping
about?
school and getting into fights and helping kids.
This guy fucking getting into fights, that is such a slimy term. Like if you've ever been in school and got in trouble for quote unquote getting into fights, when really it's like someone came up to you and started a fight with you, and it's like, oh, you're always getting into fights, quote unfucking quote. And it's like they make no distinction. And they say, like, when you say like, okay, but they started it. It's like, it doesn't matter. The fuck? The fuck? Yes, it does. But they just go, you're always getting into fight. Oh, fuck you, dude. I fucking hate that shit. I fucking hate that phrase.
Yeah, well, part of growing up and going through high school is having some physical confrontations. So it will happen if you haven't gone through it eventually. If you go through your life without a physical confrontation, I mean, awesome. That's great. That's fantastic. But you should get through it, get over with, maybe join a martial arts class just for the hell of it, just to get some experience. So it's a good thing to learn. It's not an essential part of growing up, but any kind of physical fitness, may as well make it self-defense. Why not? Go for it. Spend the year, exercise, get some buddies, play fight, whatever it takes. Go for it.
And watch anime.
And then, well, and then watch Go-Go 13.
Yes!
Then you buy a gun.
That's the way to grow.
Yeah, you want to learn about toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Twisted.
How to date
it.
women.
Roll it. Load it. Read it. Shoot it. Shoot it.
My favorite part of that show is that like Gogo was like never excited to have sex. Like every time he has like a stoic face.
He's
Like
like
it's just
stone
like waiting for it
cold.
to end.
The woman's like going crazy. He's just like this rock solid face. He's like, "Ugh."
Yes.
It's just like, I guess this is just do be how it be.
It's like it's time to pay money to the prostitutes. Like I gotta go. It's like, do you even want to go to a prostitute, or is this like part of your act? Like, what do you do?
So many times he just like only had like the prostitutes, so like he can plan out that like if someone tries to have a hit on him,
Yeah.
how is he gonna counter them?
So he can throw the person in the closet. So he has all these areas of the apartment to deal with.
Yo, is it just me, or does maybe this is just me, but for some reason Yusuke kind of reminds me of Ferris Bueller. Like it kind of reminds me of like the way like he's always like getting into trouble with the teachers and stuff, and he's always kind of getting into sort of conflict with like the main teacher and everything. He strikes me as like a similar vibe, but obviously with like more violence.
I'm trying to think of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and there's a lot of monologues in that movie, and he's just sort of critiquing life and high school and getting a job and all that jazz. It's not on the same level, but Ferris is more of a smart,
He's a mischievous
troublemaker. Yeah.
He's sort of a menace.
Whereas Yu Yu Hakusho or Yusuke is kind of just a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean
generic fighter dude. But he really tells off people a lot. Like it's not just adults, it's kids, it's girls, it's his friends. Like he just gets riled up so quickly. I don't know if there's much of a philosophy behind his actions in his monologues, but it sounds like he's generic hero guy who goes around trying to stop evil and help kids. At least that's the vibe I get. Okay, what else we got here? Here is Jake the Surgeon. He has no positive role models in his life. His only parent is a joke, and he's considered a lost cause at only 14. You are wrong, beta boy. Oh, all right.
At only 14. His parents made a strange machine. Wait, no, that's Danny Phantom. That's a different show.
Yes. Here's Tyler Preston. In the 80s, Japanese media popularized the Sukeban fashion. It means tough Japanese schoolgirls who lead an all-girl gang. Does that mean those girls also suffer from toxic masculinity?
Remember that show where it's like, what is it? It's like a girl with a bazooka.
What?
Like it's like a schoolgirl, and she has like a bazooka and shit, and she's like an undercover like special ops agent or something.
A girl?
Talking about the
It's
one
like this,
with
it's like this live
you
action
talking about...
Japanese show.
Oh, I don't know then.
There was a mecha anime or a partially mecha anime romance school show where a guy was protecting one of the girls who was...
I think is she the girl with blue hair? Because that was a show I thought he was talking about. Yeah.
He's like a weapons expert, so he has all these guns.
Yeah. What's the name of that show again? There's 3 parts.
It's funny. It's a silly show, but that's what I was thinking of.
I'm thinking of just a girl with a rocket.
Full Metal
launcher,
Panic.
I think.
Full Metal Panic, you got it.
Oh yeah, I know that show. But the show I was talking about with the girl with the bazooka. I think it's
yeah, that was what we thought you were
just
talking about.
Just the girl with the rocket launcher, I think is what it's called.
I'm trying to think. I honestly cannot think of one. I know there's lots of animes with girls with guns and games with girls with like the ridiculous guns, and it's a collect them all sort of thing, but not an anime I can think of. Oh, there's Girls Frontline, but that's the game I played.
It's a gacha game.
Yeah, it's a gacha game, exactly. Where it's all tactical fighting. No, don't know. Couldn't tell you. All right, let's get back to what he was trying to say.
It's not like it's this way for no reason. His dad is out of the picture, his mom does nothing but smoke, drink, and party all day, and most adults just write him off as a lost cause. He's bitter, he's angry, so he lashes out, rebelling against the world and indulging in what he thinks are manly acts. But
Where are you getting that he thinks
Yeah.
it's manly acts?
Where?
He's just doing it because it's kind of fun, okay? Because it's it kind of lets him blow off steam. It's literally just it feels good to do the thing.
I've never.
That's
Yeah,
literally
it seems
it's
like
not
if the
deeper
same
than
thing was going on with a tomboy, he suddenly wouldn't have a problem with it.
He's just
Yep.
putting all
And
of
I
this.
think like he's unaware of all of this because like he never experienced any of this. So
I don't.
He's
It's
just
like
putting all
alien
this
for him.
security where it doesn't exist. It's not in the show. He's
Does-
just reading all of it.
I'm just trying to
where
think.
It's not.
Does anyone go through life? I'm gonna do some manly stuff right now. I'm gonna go move some boulders. You know, I'm not like what is a
I'm
man?
sure some people are insecure in that way, but I mean, I don't think that's relevant here.
Definitely not in this anime. No, I don't think there's ever. Yusuke goes to himself, I'm gonna go lift some weights, or it's like because I want to be a man. It's like no, I don't think.
Like
so.
I'm gonna
a character
fist of the
that-
North
if you
Star
want to have
today.
an example of a character that's actually insecure about their masculinity, it would be the main character of Zeta Gundam. He has like what's his name? He has a name where he always complains that it's not a girl's name. It's not a girl's name. What's she called? Is it with a K?
Well,
I can't remember
I
the
was
name.
immediately thinking of Kenshiro because Mark mentioned Miss the North Star. It's like PQ.
yeah, like he literally has a scene where he just like moves a boulder with one
Camille, that's
hand.
what his name is. Camille.
Like he doesn't need to achieve any other masculine feats. He's already knocked down a building with his skull. You know,
Yeah, but
Yes.
but yeah, Camille in Zeta Gundam is always like complaining about his name or like complaining about people. Like no, I'm not girly. I'm a boy. I'm a man. You know, I'm a manly man. You know, so that's like a character where I can actually see. If you want to say that someone's insecure about their masculinity, like that's like okay, it actually makes sense to say.
Is that the Shining Finger show?
That's the one. No, that's you're thinking of G Gundam. I think is Shining
Oh,
Finger.
okay.
Shining Finger. Da, 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 da. Yeah, no, Zeta Gundam is can't remember how the opening of it goes, but it's the more serious one because it's Universal Century. It's the second. It's literally just a direct sequel to the original Gundam show,
Huh.
and arguably the best. Like I quite like Zeta Gundam.
One day I want to watch through all of those. Well, the good ones.
Apart from the
I
OVA,
have heard of
I
the
think
like
OVA is
crappy
probably
ones.
better. I think there's definitely some of the OVAs that I think are probably better than like the main shows.
Honestly,
but, like
there are so
it
many
is.
fans of Gundam. Like they all say this is the best. It's like okay, well, I mean, I can't watch
like
them
it.
all.
I like it a lot. Sure you can.
I remember back in the day, it was Stardust 0038,
Stardust.
83.
Yeah,
Stardust
83,
83. Yeah.
Stardust Memories.
Everyone says that's the best. I'm like, okay, all right.
It's funny enough, it's not my favorite. I like 8th MS Team, and I like War in the Pocket. War in the Pocket is really, really good. It's very short. It's just 6 episodes, but it's like really good.
Okay, back to other anime, not about mechs.
A complete person. He doesn't attack the weak. Well, except Kurabara.
Oh.
He attacks everyone. What are you talking about? He beats the.
Oh no, Yusuke! Oh, that voice.
And he has a soft spot for kids. In fact, it's thanks to this soft spot that he ends up getting hit by a car trying to save a kid. He dies, and while he's a spirit, he sees that people actually do care about him. His mom is lost without him. A teacher mourns his
She was
death
kind of lost
because
before.
all he wanted was for Yusuke to make something of himself. And his friend Keiko is beside herself with grief. Even Kuwabara cries for him, as Yusuke was the only person who ever pushed him. This stirs something in him, and he decides to take up an offer to become a spirit detective, because if he does so, he will be returned to life. This is his first step to healing. It wasn't force that changed him, it was emotion. The love felt for him that he was so afraid to give back.
Okay, so he's making the assumption that love is an emotion. Okay, that's fine. I mean, this tells me a lot more about the YouTuber than it does about his understanding of the anime. So,
only the tip of the iceberg. Sometime later in the series, Yusuke is told he needs to be trained under someone to stop their techniques from being stolen by demons. Normally, in this kind of show, the master would be a wise old man or some buff JoJo looking dude. But not this time. Yusuke's new master is
in
Genkai,
JoJo, he was
a
trained by
frail looking
at one
old
point.
woman. The complete opposite of what you would expect. And
Just like in
Yusuke feels
JoJo,
this-
a 50-year-old woman,
Yeah,
training
just like in
a
JoJo.
young boy.
Wow.
It's
so original.
I don't remember this being a big deal
Yeah.
in the show. It was like,
not
okay,
at
I
all.
guess.
Wait a second. Is this because it's non-masculine because the teacher is a female?
Yeah.
Really? Is this part of it? Like,
I think the fact that she was like really small was like part of it.
yeah, but that's like,
I mean, even in Star Wars, you have
Yeah.
fucking Yoda.
yeah, that's like Yoda.
Yes.
So it's like,
It's like, who
even though
cares?
even though he's male, you know, the fact that he's this small like runt, and he's the but it's
What's the same?
it's almost a trope at this point. That it's like a really frail character.
What's the same with Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball? It's like, yeah, he's this weird-looking servant of God who just goes around helping out people when they come to heaven.
And they turned him blue because it was supposedly racist.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Hello, it is me, the Gollywog man.
yeah, the Arabian blue fellow from heaven. Like what?
Hello, Prince.
but she is strong, much stronger than him, and over time, Yusuke's bias is soon replaced with awe as the two
What
become
bias?
student
Where does
and
he
master.
say this?
It's super refreshing to
I'm
see
losing
this
my
kind of
fucking
thing happen.
mind.
Having a
Okay, wait a second.
Where does he say this?
How is it super refreshing to see a small old woman be strong in anime? This happens, throughout the 90s. Hell, you see cats that are super strong. There's all kinds of creatures, and
I mean, we had Sailor Moon at this point, so I mean, women beating up people. I mean, it's not like
it's
that.
not a big deal. This is anime. Lots of things are possible. That's the whole
And
point.
Dragon Ball had the androids as well, which is sort of
Yeah, the androids were they're extremely strong.
so. Which one's the female one? Or the one that
It's
marries
18.
Cohen? 18.
Yeah, that's Android Pornhub.
What?
Oh yes,
Android porno.
those android titties.
Yeah.
There was like
they
that
got me
mecha
feeling some
anime,
way.
They may as well have
From
called
the
her
80s.
Android 34.
like where it was as a female lead as well.
And that was a dime.
Not Die Buster. I think it was
Gunbuster.
Oh,
like equal to that.
Gunbuster?
Yeah.
Gunbuster?
That was by
Gunbuster,
Gainax.
yeah.
You know?
Or
Okay,
Gainax.
by was it Trigger?
Gainax.
Or Gainax?
Gainax.
Gainax.
Yeah.
I remember that one. That they dealt with time
That's a good
travel
one.
and going faster than the speed of light and all this other stuff. It was great.
Yeah, it was sort of similar to like Interstellar, right? It was sort
Yep.
of similar where
Yes.
Very
they come
cool.
back and everything's changed, right?
It was like the
it's just a
debut
short, like,
for
OVA, right?
the
But it's-
dude who made Ever.
Yeah, it's good shit.
a woman as strong as characters in the shonen is something that's rare even today.
Okay,
No.
do I have to go Google
Is
this?
it though?
right
I mean, so what if it is though? Who gives a fuck?
I mean, it's not hard
Like, oh no.
to find a list of female characters in anime or manga or video games that are lead characters or strong or powerful. Like, there's so many. Do
It's
we?
like, so what? Like, what is the correct number? What is the correct percentage or representation?
Yeah, this story pulled a twist.
Arbitrary.
Wow, I've never seen this before. We never watched Star
Essentially,
Wars.
how it comes down now is that like it's toxic masculinity if you're not taking the help of a woman.
Okay, the guy lost his life. He's trying to get it back, and he needs to go to some spirit medium guru. It could be an alien for all I care. It doesn't make a difference. It's so these are extraordinary ideas. It doesn't matter what they look like. If it was a giant man, like 3 meters tall, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense. It's an undead creature of some sort in the spirit realm, and he's doing amazing things. Fine.
Also, it's not an unreasonable bias to have at this point. If you're Yusuke and you're like, oh yeah, this tiny woman is gonna teach, yeah, you'd be fucking skeptical, and it's not toxic to be skeptical at that point. There's nothing toxic about thinking, this seems kind of sketch. This seems kind of, I'm not so sure about this, you know? That's fine. Like, there's not, I don't, saying that that's toxic or, oh, that's just biased. I mean, that just seems sensible. That just seems like, yeah, why would you assume that they're gonna be?
Here is Jake the Surgeon. He mentioned Bleach, the anime where the main character achieves a state of power only the strongest Soul Reapers at the time from a woman.
Yes, at the start of the anime.
There's
that's how he gets the powers, right?
There's so many.
It's rare to see.
Got so many more powers though. Other than that,
There's just so many female
It's like all
characters
powers.
in anime that are super powerful. So I don't see what the big deal is, unless we're talking about, I think, Dragon Ball. But all those are just like crazy Toriyama designs, and it's just like, all right, more male aliens beating the crap out of each other. It's fine. I don't care.
It's like the joke character from Toriyama, like Ariel, who is like
the
a
one-
robot something, and like
What about when
kicks everyone's
Toriyama what about when they just literally drew Winnie the Pooh in Super and made him a character? It's just roided Winnie the Pooh. It's just, that's what it is. I was like, is that Winnie the fucking Pooh? And my friend was like, yeah.
I thought it was the Backyardigans.
It's fucking roided Winnie
No,
the
fucking-
Pooh, I'm telling you.
fucking-
Look him up.
Fucking Beerus is that one guy from the Backyardigans, you know.
Here is Tyler Preston. Thank you for the donation. The show with a Japanese school with a rocket launcher is called Shoujo Commando Izumi. Also, JoJo Part 2 had Lisa as Joseph's teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what,
Yeah.
what
And
it
she
said,
was
right?
old, but she looked like she was 20-something. It was kind of weird. It was
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Sunshine Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Everyone, start now.
Yeah, everyone studied Kung Fu. Okay. Oh, boy. Alex Halo.
Everybody knows Kung Fu.
In Japan, yeah. Okay. Or in JoJo, rather. Alex Halo. Obviously, for me, Saber and Neptune are ones. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Alex. Oh, boy. Thanks for chiming in. We were wondering where you were, Alex. Finally took you long enough to get here. It's,
Oh bother! I
As the smell of fate stay night.
the fate stay
I will
night.
have to use a smack rule of my power.
And Neptunia, yeah. All right, let's go.
But the happened in the 90s is nuts. Not
No,
to
it's
mention that these two
not.
are great together.
Like, holy fuck, are we gonna pretend like the 90s were like super conservative?
Like Ghost
Are
in
we
the
gonna
Shell,
pretend like, oh, in the 90s? Because you like,
Princess Mononoke.
fucking Christ. What the fuck?
Everything
It's-
before the
fuck.
age of Trump was conservative, by the way.
Like, what is this ludicrous retconning of like the 90s? Oh, you couldn't have done this in the 90s because it's so like conservative and toxic. And like, bro, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah, the girls from
Like, there was like fucking like Xena, Warrior Princess, and fucking Buffy and shit.
yeah. You had
And the idea of the strong female was like in its prime, you know, and with not quite as bad writing.
yeah, as you said, Sailor
you know.
Moon, the entire cast, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Faye from Bebop, that's late 90s. I said the Ghost in the Shell earlier.
Layers.
What do you call it? Escaflowne?
Oh,
That
right.
one?
Escaflowne, yeah, that was pretty cool. A bunch of female characters. Like every anime has a bunch of female characters that are strong. I don't get it. Like, what's the big deal?
This is not like the 90s were not. We're not this like super like yeah, this is so progressive for the 90s because the 90s were so against that sort of thing, right? And it's like, oh, come on, man, fuck off.
Here's Jake again. Fate is the ultimate counter to this soy-infused troglodyte. His premise is this is the show, which is supposedly against or a cure or whatever to being a guy. or being a bad guy or whatever the hell he's talking about. But anime was never about being right or wrong.
Revolutionary Girl Utena as well.
Oh,
It's
that's
about entertaining people.
That's an interesting one. If I were to talk about Bleach, I would bring that up because the style and the imagery and the concepts are very similar. So it's a bit more focused on romance because that's the premise of the show. And I think that's I wished that Bleach focused on as well because there's so many will they, won't they moments, and you're like, come on, can you get on with something here? Can you give these characters some level of happiness aside from we're friends? We all have a family now. It's like, come on, there's more to this story than just a bunch of kids going through their teenage years and fighting evil dead gods or whatever the heck they're doing. Here is Francis Bordacopel again. Thank you. This guy is a poser, holy F. The nerdy kids probably shoved his putts into a locker. I don't know. I think he's just trying.
Well, they like glued him on a stick ever since.
Well, obviously he just let them because he didn't want to be getting into fights. He didn't want to be. We don't want to be toxic by quote unquote getting into fights. Because that would be toxic. So he just let them do whatever they wanted because he wouldn't want to get into a fight.
Yeah. Okay. We're at 6 minutes. Doing good.
Sure, they argue. Yusuke gains great respect for her, and she puts a lot of trust in Yusuke. It becomes this really sweet relationship that's probably one of the best master-student things in shonen, and it really shows growth on Yusuke's part. The old Yusuke never would have stuck around to train under this old lady, but he's matured, he's opened himself, and he's ready to see what kind of person
in
he
one
might be.
episode?
However,
Are you saying
on
that?
the other side of this coin,
The core features of Yusuke were always there. Like it was just like he had like a different perspective at the moment. Like he wasn't like realized like he had that much impact on like everyone else around him. But like
Yeah, it was sort of It's a Wonderful Life type of thing.
yes, exactly. So like, but like all this change doesn't happen in like one episode. Like what he's suggesting right now. It's like
Yu Yu Hakusho is It's a Wonderful Life if It's a Wonderful Life was a shonen anime.
Oh boy. What a funny analogy. Let's compare it to the Christmas story. Oh. Okay. Here's Roan Haru. Hey Roan, how's it going, buddy? Gundam 0080. War in the Pocket had a female test pilot in the Alex Gundam. You know what? When you put anyone into a Gundam or any mobile suit, I don't care what their gender is. It really
at that point it's like
doesn't matter. If you're a
they're
good
really
pilot, there's a lot of cool pilots in all of Gundam, really, that are males and females. So, yeah, this has nothing to do with sexism or masculinity or good masculinity or bad. It's such a silly thing to juxtapose these ideas, and we still haven't gotten to the point where this is a cure or this is some sort of way of looking at masculinity different. We've seen this hero character lots of times.
I believe like he's gonna wait until like Toguro, like that was his name, is gonna appear in like the tournament because like that's like the opposite of
Toguro the surname. Like is Toguro the family name? Isn't it
I
the
guess
brothers?
it's the big guy with the sunglasses in the dark tournament.
I can't remember if because isn't it there's the younger Toguro and there's the
The younger one is the big guy and the older one is like some kind of like plant.
weird looking dude.
Oh boy.
Anyway, yeah, there's all kinds of amazing pilots throughout Gundam, not just 0080, 0079, 0083, of course. Even
007.
79.
Yeah, 79 is the first one.
Yeah, then Zeta has a whole bunch. I can't remember those. There's so many.
There's Zeta, there's double Zeta.
Yeah,
And then
but there's so many. Like there's just like you can talk about any of these. Oh, this anime is a solution to toxic masculinity. It's like, okay, the context of a war where a bunch of women are in weapons of destruction. Like I guess, okay.
Claymore is a metaphor for how men can't stand powerful women.
Oh God.
walks away explaining nothing.
Yeah. it's like,
I could actually see someone making a video about that. I could actually see.
I like when Glib responds to this because he's like, "I just want a hot girl to beat the shit out of me."
Yeah. I could actually.
I don't
see
know
someone
what
making
the
a video
fuck
with
you're
Glib
talking about.
saying that.
He's great.
all right.
We have Tagoro.
Yes.
Oh, this guy.
Tagoro is this giant, hulking man that seems to be the embodiment of strength.
The
He
ex-boyfriend
has
of
power,
Genkai.
money, influence, everything that society says will make you a man. But it's what
Okay,
he
he is
has
pretty
done
cool,
with
though,
these
right?
gifts that contradict it. Once Genkai's lover, he threw away his humanity to become a demon in an attempt to gain everlasting strength. And after becoming a demon, he went on to kill hundreds of people, both friend and foe alike.
Hey, sometimes
While
you gotta
he
do what you
fights
gotta
with
do.
honor, his actions lead him down a dark path stained with blood. He sacrifices everything, his home, his humanity, his relationship, all in the pursuit of strength. This is toxic masculinity.
Why?
Normal people don't do that, nor does male culture perpetuate that. That seems like
very-
that's just a that guy thing.
That's like very extreme.
He's a villain. He's a like what? Is he supposed to be a good guy? Did he achieve all his goals through nice means and kindly efforts? Like, no.
You wouldn't have a
It's
story.
like-
What do you want from him?
It's a metaphor for toxic masculinity, but it's like, is he not just?
It's like Darth Vader is toxically masculine. It's like, what? I think there's other issues at shape here. What are you talking about?
He strangles people. He
hates
talks
sand.
down his daughter.
He doesn't like
Yeah, just as all of those.
the Republic.
Just as all those men's health magazines say on the front, you know. We're not saying you have to kill all of your family to gain strength and power, but that's what you got to do to get this body. You know, that's all I'm saying. You know, it's like on the front cover. It's like, can killing your entire clan give you like this body?
Okay, now we're gonna be doing the chest, and then he just starts wrangling a dog.
Yeah. He's like, no, this one's really good for the biceps. You know, it really gets the.
Now we're gonna be working
He gets
those
the
arms.
pump.
He just starts
He
beating
gets
his
the
wife.
Yeah, those deltoids. And now the abs.
Yeah, he just crushes like.
He just
someone's,
fucking
like,
hits her in
neck
the head
with
with a
his
crowbar. She's like, "What was that for?" Style
Yeah.
points.
You know, to test the
Those
limit of my
collected.
abilities. Why, father, why did you beat my siblings to death? To test the limit of my abilities.
Here we go. Jake the Surgeon. He became a demon because he feared his own mortality. Okay.
Yeah, but like this guy isn't gonna mention that.
No, it's because it talks to masculinity. You know, shut up. It's because it talks to masculinity.
Just words.
Also, he regrets like his decision. Like he even like tells that to Genkai, I think, because they
Wh-
meet when he goes to hell.
What would he say about Berserk? Like when he like Seska would be a good female role model or a good female character, but then I guess Griffin would be like toxically masculine because he's like the spawn of the devil or something. This is
Well, even like before that, like he like pretty much like does like very evil deeds. Like he assassinates the royal half of the royal family.
he's a mercenary.
Like he
yeah.
sells his own body for like money
Yeah,
and
exactly.
funds.
Like where do we go? Like how do
It's like a big asshole.
is this like the lesson you learn from the show? Like the bad guys are bad, don't be like them. It's like, thanks. We get it. It's nothing to do with being a guy or socially acceptable behavior from a guy compared to a murdering psychopath. Like, thanks. Don't do that.
I just think the idea that this is a thing that is encouraged in society that we have to fight against so that we don't end up like how society is trying to make us. It's just ludicrous. It's ludicrous. That's not. This is not reality. This is not what society is pushing people towards.
I think
Like,
we
you
could
should be like
all
this.
Yeah, we can all see that no one goes around, I want more power. It's like, no. I want to get a job. I want to support myself and invest in things and eat well and sleep well. And I don't want to start beating the shit out of people and killing them. It doesn't cross my mind. I don't think I'll ever do that.
How will they get the Mangekyo Sharingan?
Oh yeah, I gotta kill my best friend.
But isn't like that thing that you said, Smiley, is like the plot of One Punch Man? He essentially just wants like a fucking job, but like because like he can't get a job, he starts beating up monsters just to get strong.
Well, he wanted to be a hero, and that was his whole mentality. And then he realizes he's not doing so well, so he tries to join the Hero Association.
Yeah.
And that's, they give him money, but he has to maintain that status, or else he can't get money. So he has to run around trying to do anything well that they notice. So he maintains his status per month.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's just this is we could go with any anime and go, this anime works so well in teaching kids not to become psychopaths. It's like, thanks. I'll watch any story about war. And there's good guys and bad guys. Great.
Well, how about like the father of Shinji from Evangelion? Like that. Now that's
Neon Genesis Evangelion is a great story about teaching kids not to become toxically masculine because the father figure does not teach his children how to be men.
He just walks away. This is the way.
And then he asks him to get into a robot and kill things. Like, oh my god, how horrible! It's just like we can do any anime. There's so much nuance to anime nowadays. I'm obviously we're talking about classics here and there, Bebop, but they're violent stories. That's why we watch. They're exciting. They have conflict which is dangerous and scary, like Guts wielding a sword which is obviously too big for him.
I saw a quote, was it from the writer of the Hunger Games? And she was just like, I find it really disturbing that people enjoyed the first two movies more than the later movies, because that's where it's kids killing kids. How can you enjoy that? And it's like, come on, man. Come on. Like all of this sort of sanctimonious, like, it's showing the horrors of violence and how bad it is, and you shouldn't, enjoy this. And then it's like, yeah, but it's kind of cool though, right? It's kind of like violence is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like going to an Indian restaurant. Oh, I was expecting a Big Mac. You're like, what are you talking about? I go to different places to get different things. I don't watch the Hunger Games.
Yeah, just moralizing about enjoying violence.
Yeah,
like, no, you can't just enjoy violence for its own sake. It has to mean something. It has to be about how bad violence is and the horrors of war. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of cool the way he fucking like chopped that guy's head off and then like stabbed the other guy and did like a fucking backflip and like fucking crushed this guy's skull though. It's pretty cool though, right? It's pretty badass the way he did that though. No, but you don't understand. Violence is bad and horrible. It's like, okay, but it's pretty cool though, right? It's pretty epic.
Yeah, like disregarding all that fucking awesome action, just as a tool to make the plot go forward. Like, fuck that. No.
Oh man, this guy would just cry if he watches Golgo. He'll just go nuts.
How can he kill all
like,
these people?
I kind of want to. Actually,
women?
I don't. I would hate to hear what this guy thinks of the protagonist from Fate Zero.
Yeah, or Violence Jack. I don't know if you know that one.
How he could not care about Arthur's feelings? No. I would be more into like, oh, fuck no, the priest didn't win. I hope he can eat the mabo tofu.
I mean, it's like when people say like, "Oh, you don't get it. You're not supposed to like Walter White as a character. Don't you see that he's pathetic and evil, and that his actions like result in his downfall?" It's like, yeah, but it's pretty cool when he fucking kills people, though, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty,
same fucking thing is happening with Invincible. Like some people like, I think I heard it that like, how come like you like Omni-Man? That like, yeah, I get it that he's the villain, but like he's such a cool character. Like it's like really cool to like see him like do shit.
Yeah, I mean it's very entertaining, you know.
Yeah, the other thing is that like Amber is such a terrible character in the show that I was actually feeling like less disgusted by Omni-Man's actions.
It's so funny how when Omni-Man like brutally murders people, it's
Yes.
like, you know, it's like you could almost see where he's coming from. You can go like, okay, I mean that's his mission, you know, understandable. Have a nice day, you know. I mean, at least he's honorable. At least he's holding to his obligations. You know, he's a man of his word. You know,
Damn right.
But so even though he's doing this brutal stuff, it's still like there's a sense of honor to it. There's a sense of like, you know, he's just doing his duty. You know, it looks brutal to us, but you know, he's just doing what he got to do. You know, but
Yeah, he signed up for it.
but when Amber, it's just like, well, I actually knew already, but why didn't you tell me? What kind of it? But like he's known you for like a couple of months, right? It's like. Who the
Bitch,
fuck
I
are
just
you?
like, saved the city for you. If
Who
I
the
wasn't
fuck
there,
are
then
you?
like you would
How
have fucking died.
Like he barely fucking knows you, dude.
Yeah.
Like what level of trust are you fucking expecting here? What kind of retarded level of like, no, you didn't tell me. You should have told me. Yeah, I think in the comics, like the character's basically like a Gwen Stacy type.
Yeah,
Character.
it wasn't as terrible as like.
But it's yeah, and people are like, no, why do you dislike her? You shouldn't dislike it. See, the thing is, violence is just there's certain, like, it just doesn't come across as unlikable as that kind of thing in a way. Like so a character be really violent but still be likable, because certain, like, violence can be like, well, it was really violent, but it's a lot easier to understand the motivations behind violence a lot of the time than it is to understand the motivation behind that kind of thing. Where it's just like, well,
Yeah.
you're just being a fucking bitch. There's no honor to it. Whereas when Omni-Man kills people, it's like, you know, there's a kind of honor to it. There's a kind of like duty and stuff to it, where it's like, you know, he has his principles, you know.
Damn right.
Even if I disagree with them, and even if it's like horrible, it's like, well, you know, he sticks to his guns, you know. Not that he needs guns, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost halfway done.
He sticks to his buns.
He sticks to his buns, his indestructible buns. You would almost call
Yes.
them, and then it cuts to like the title screen.
Boss.
Is what happens when you only think of proving your worth by how strong you are.
I don't even.
See, again, it's not about proving his worth.
What sort of juvenile message is he expecting? Like, what is he talking about? Kids showing off how good they are at sports? Like, what is he talking about?
I don't know. It's like he would have to give us an example of how this excretes issues into real life culture. She's not really doing. He's just making the claim that this character suffers from toxic masculinity.
Like, if you are a boxer, you want to show how good you are at boxing, whether that's strength or endurance or speed or technique or whatever. That's a good thing. Means you're a good boxer. Means you're entertaining. Means you win fights. Same with any athlete. So, I mean, what's wrong with that?
And with you see a lot of the things that makes it so easy to slip into. He's haunted by the trauma of losing people close to him. So much
So
so
what does
that
that
out
have-
of fear,
So, is he talking about the villain here?
What masculinity then?
See, like, okay, here's the thing, though. I think that would be much more interesting if he was to do something like attempt to diagnose the character, and then rather than just saying it's good or bad, or instead of resorting to using words like toxic masculinity, actually building off that diagnosis to make a solid video about just the character. So again, we see someone attacking an entire show for reasons that aren't justified. We see this time and time again, where they'll like attack all these different parts of a show for like, how long is the video? 10 minutes? How long is this video?
16.
15 minutes.
Okay, 15 minutes. So like 10, 15 minutes, they just talk shit on a show and use sensational language like toxic masculinity.
Well, like, he's
Wouldn't
not
it be
talking
so
shit on
much
the
more
show. Like, he's saying
interesting?
the show's
Wouldn't
good.
it be so much more interesting to make like one one video for each character that you want to examine, and then diagnose the character, and then see where you can go with that. That would be so much cooler.
Well, I think he's going with the premise that the villain is the representation of the thing he doesn't like, which is whatever.
It's a good thing 'cause it's the villain, right? So he's like, you see, the show agrees with me.
Yeah, but villains are supposed to be going the extra step that most people wouldn't go and sticking with it. That's what makes them cool. They're like, oh, this is my philosophy. This is what I believe in. This is what I am. I'm the bad guy. I'm Darth Vader, whatever. It's like, oh, yep, there you go. So if he wants to use that and say, yeah, this is the great example of teaching a lesson, I'm like, fine, that's great. What's the lesson? It's definitely not toxic masculinity, because you cannot tie in.
He just brought up that it's about he worried about, what was it, that he couldn't defend his
friends,
students.
He couldn't protect his friends.
He couldn't protect them. That has nothing to do with toxic masculinity. That explicitly means that it's not about proving himself.
And what ends up happening is a villain has
what he's saying.
Well, villains usually have good intentions about their motivation to do something, like save the kingdom or help the person or love my wife, and something goes wrong. So they spend the rest of their existence to right that wrong in the extreme. So in this case, this guy just went the extreme, and now he's super violent and super strong, and he kills people and all this jazz.
I think that's one type of villain, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they're all like that, but in this example, this guy was
It's something you see commonly in shonen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's understandable that this character who's really strong got this way because he had good intentions, but he went too far. And he lost track. He lost his wife or his girlfriend at the time, whatever, that little chick, and all the other stuff that happened. So he ended up going down this dark path. Very similar to what happened to Darth Vader in just this dumb way, just because, that story.
I think I would have preferred it if Darth Vader's issue with the Jedi wasn't, because it seems like his issue is mostly about them being hypocritical. Like, would you agree with that? Like in the
one
prequels, that his issue is mostly that they're hypocritical, that they don't.
Yeah, there's the one scene in Episode 3 where he's arguing with Obi-Wan about Obi-Wan wanting him to spy on the Chancellor, and he's like, we don't do that. It's like, I know, but I'm asking you to do that. Like that's the one scene I could say this has a lot of weight and has some value, as opposed to
the thing with Mace Windu where he
that is
where he cuts off his hand, and the whole point is that killing the Chancellor isn't the Jedi way, and then that killing a supposedly defenseless person, that's not the Jedi way, and so but it's all about them not following the Jedi way and being hypocritical about it. I just think it would have been better if his issue was that they did follow it and that was the problem. Like, it's the difference between someone saying, well, I disagree, like, I don't want to be a Christian because look at all these hypocritical Christians, right? But it's better to go have someone who's like, well, I disagree with Christianity because people do follow it, and that's a problem. Because people follow things like love your enemy, and that's just dumb. Like, that kind of thing, where it's like, that's their problem, is actually that they do follow it, and that causes problems.
Well, with Darth Vader, his original premise was, I love my wife, I want to save her, and I don't know how. And he never finds out how. And he never questions what he's doing or how he's doing it. And he just ends up going, well, I guess I don't like the Jedi anymore. I guess I'll follow this schmuck because I screwed up. And that's it.
Yeah, he just suddenly changed his mind as soon as he killed Mace Windu.
Yeah, that's not much of a good reason and understanding.
There wasn't much build-up.
No, it's just boom, whoops. I guess this is it now. You're like, what? No. How about your wife? How about the visions? She's gonna die, and what? Like, what are you doing? Do you think your wife wants this?
Really weird.
Like,
he basically leads to her death, kind of by like choking her out a little, and she's not
but
really, but that kind of leads to it.
If there was a scene where he's like arguing with Palpatine, saying, "I need to save my wife. What do I do?" And Palpatine's like, "Listen, you have to do exactly what I say. And if you don't, your wife will die." And he goes through all these steps. He's like, okay, fine, I'll give up this. I'll give up that. I'll lie to the Jedi. I'll do all these things. And he does these things. Then he gets to the scene with whatever, where he has to make a choice publicly. Then it would at least have some backdrop of what he was doing. This is just like so quick. And you're like, wait a second. He just killed a Jedi Master and he just stood there. And you're not going to... I don't care if you dislike the Jedi. He just killed a person.
Yeah.
All right. You stopped him from killing the other guy. Fine. You didn't want Mace Windu to do that. Fine. But then he outright murdered him when he was begging for his life, and then he starts cackling and saying insane shit. Like
Unlimited power.
Something's up, buddy.
That seems to be like a good guy to save my life.
Yeah. He's just like,
Unlimited refill.
yes, Anakin, you fucking killed him. And Anakin's like, yes, I did.
Just tell me how to save Padme. Yeah. I guess together we can discover the secret. What secret? I killed the fucking...
Well, you see, the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities.
It is so brain dead, and we were just supposed to accept that scene as this dramatic turn face. You're just like, no, dude, George, come on, George, use your brain for 2 seconds.
Dumb. It was pretty dumb.
There was like someone was like the same like status as director as George, and just read the fucking script and like told him that like no, just like, think more, think George, think.
Make the scene better.
Like if I were writing it, I would have made like Padme's death be a result of Jedi having the attitude of no, we only defend and we never attack and stuff. And Anakin being the one who's saying, no, we need to be the ones to attack first.
Well,
and the Jedi going, no, the Jedi way is to only for defense.
If there was a focus of family, like interestingly enough, if there was a focus of the background stories of Sith and their families, and how they treat their young, and how they raise them, and how they can save mothers in childbirth or whatever, like that would be a big thing. Because then Anakin would be like, hey, I'm a Jedi, but we don't save women who are dying in childbirth. Wait a second, my wife's going to die. I want to learn that technique. And then
non-interference. That's the prime directive.
Yeah, something like he wants to get involved because he loves his wife, obviously. So that would be a good reason. And just have a base. It doesn't have to be like cheating death or whatever bullshit that Palpatine was talking. That's over the top stupid. It's like basic stuff. The Sith aren't always evil. They love their families. They hate their enemies passionately, the same way they love their family. Like, yeah, you love them, as opposed to the Jedi who just are complete external.
Right.
Not
I mean,
involved.
it's kind of like in the Satanist Bible, like one of the things is like hate your enemies, hate them with your whole heart.
Right. Something like that. That would have been fine. That would have been perfectly fine and normal and make sense, and it would color the Sith a little better. Obviously, the extent of that is
I just
Darth
think you
Vader.
need to show a situation where hate seems necessary.
Yes. Make
and I just yeah.
the
just
rationalization of the evil action or the extreme action.
When you're writing a character like the prerequisite to Vader, what you need to do is take this almost everyman-like character. Maybe he could be a bit of a paragon, like have virtuous tendencies, but make it seem that it's reasonable as possible for him to make a pro-Sith decision.
Well, first off, don't make him a technical genius. Don't make him a son of God. And don't make him win a crazy pod race, which is just so extreme. It's just insane. And then destroy a space station by himself accidentally. All these things. They just say, whoa. Like, dial it back.
You just need a seed. You just need like a seed of an ideology there of like, you sometimes need to hate. Like sometimes hate is a necessary thing. And that would be the sort of seed for the conflict between him and the Jedi way. That would be sort of plant the seed of, him being like, no, sometimes you do need to hate, and the Jedi and Yoda always went, no, you can't hate. That leads to the dark side, and that's bad.
Yeah,
and
show off.
But if we had hated, then we would have won. If we had hate, then we could have actually done this and this other battle strategy or this and this.
The failings of the Jedi, the same way. KOTOR did it much differently, but the same way the idea behind KOTOR was to subvert the flaws of the Jedi, because these philosophies that George thought up were childish. They weren't very intelligent. Even the speech by Yoda in those movies was childish. All these ideas aren't very well thought out.
I mean, it's basically the Karate Kid, right? It's basically
it's a watered down version of that. Even it's really bad. So you need to understand. I don't know, Buddhism's. Pick a religion, buddy. Pick one. Understand it. Say okay.
I guess it's Jainism would be the equivalent, right? Like sort of path.
I don't know. I have to actually look at that. But it's just like pick one, understand the morals and the problems and trappings of it. Talk to an actual scholar. who knows the arguments. Shouldn't be hard. They've been debating them for thousands of years, and exploit one of those flaws, talk about it, make a character out of it, make a conflict out of it, and boom, that's it. So that's all George needed to do. Anyway, we've been rambling on about Star Wars too long, so let's keep going. Jake the Surgeon, I wonder how he'd try and twist Hiei being abandoned by his own people because of his gender. Hiei is a character in the show?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
like he was abandoned
right
because he was a
speaking,
boy.
sir.
Yeah, and it, like I think like the species are like the people that like he belonged to were like completely
Well,
women. So
demon, right? Yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
Oh god, the more I talk about it, the worse it gets.
All
Now
right.
that's toxic femininity.
Talk. Is it a feminine? Is it a guy? Is it a girl? Which one is it?
He is a
Yeah,
boy.
he was the guy with like black hair with like the white part,
Yeah. Okay.
like the edgy boy.
Oh, right in the beginning. Okay, I remember him. All right. Let's go.
He gives up with trading a short yet sweet life with Genkai
That is
for an
quite a
eternity of fighting
screenshot.
and bloodshed. He is afraid of what will happen if he is weak, afraid of growing old and frail, and he clings to the idea that as long as he is strong, he doesn't have to be afraid. This is how toxic masculinity works in real life
What?
as well.
Wait.
No,
No.
it's not.
How?
No, it's not.
How? I want to know how. Does anyone
That's
know?
insane.
I'm afraid of losing.
That's because of something specific that happened to him.
Is that why Arnold Schwarzenegger still works out?
He's scared of dying.
Yes, so that's why he needs to get buff
Being
again.
scared of dying is toxic masculinity, guys.
Oh boy.
You should
Well,
just
because
Yeah,
it seems
machine
like his
son.
argument is if a character copes with something in a way that makes them look cool, it's toxic masculinity. Well, that's his argument. That's his argument. If a character copes with something in a way that looks too cool, it's toxic masculinity. That's his fucking
Yeah.
argument.
No, you should just cry and eat Twinkies. That's the non-toxic method, you know.
There's so many reasons to go to the gym. I don't think everyone has said, I don't want to die. Like, what? No. You'll be fine. Just sit
Right.
there. You're good. You don't have to go to the gym.
Just cry in your burger buns, you know.
Well, I might speed up the process,
Like,
but
well, I don't want to be toxic.
I don't get it. Give me a comparison, please. Let's hear it.
Guys are afraid of seeming weak, because if they do, they'll be a target for other equally scared boys.
Wait a second. You're saying they're going to be
Yeah,
bullied?
boys like the Nazis? Are you
Bullying. I think this is mostly a myth. The idea that, well, you see, bullies are just people with low self-esteem, and I think this is just a story that is told to people who are bullied to make them feel better. I don't think it's actually true.
So-
I think bullies are actually the most socially capable people. They actually understand people very well, and they
I
think
don't
highly
think
of
every
themselves.
bully is the same.
Well, that's true. But I do think that,
I don't think that all bullying behaviors are comparable, and I don't think that all people who initiate those behaviors
but
are
I think
comparable.
people big up they just have low self-esteem and that's where they're just lashing out because they are insecure. I think that is played up to
I don't disagree
to a
with
large
that
degree.
statement.
Here is Jake. Thanks, Jake. That's a human thing, you Thunder Wally.
Fuck is a thunder wallet?
I don't know, but it's...
like a Wally, but like thunder.
I don't know how he tied this into bullying. I don't get it. Is he talking about kids in high school
Look
now?
at that back, bro. Jeez.
I think he was attempting to use bullying as an example, but I think it was a poor example.
How else would you use strength, like physical strength? Like, are you running a race so you don't want to lose? Like, what does that have
So
anything to do with?
people don't want to appear weak because they'll be bullied. I mean,
I don't know.
okay, I guess like bullies exist. I don't know what to fucking tell you, my dude.
Something that
chest
some
and
people
try
can
to
be
act
more
hard,
fixated on than others,
stunting us
but-
emotionally so that when we have kids, We teach them the same
beat
thing
them.
in the
Wait,
We
wait,
beat
wait.
our children.
How did we get from bullying to being parents? What is he talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Forget it.
We're gonna teach our kids everything we know. That's generally how it works. And you could have bad parents that teach you bad things. This is true.
It's really just the parents trying to like employ some bullies to like make your kids miserable. It's like
It's a secret
widely
bully
known
mafia.
conspiracy theory.
I know that was an American Dad episode. That's pretty much all I've heard about that.
Seriously.
I've never seen anyone
We've
do it in
introduced
real life.
bullying to all of our schools. It's remarkably effective. I'm really grateful for our state-mandated bullies. They really, really help bring me down a peg. He just gets shoved into the
Sponsored by the Columbine School.
Wear your fucking mask, kid, or I'll shove you in your locker again.
Fuck you, nerd. Fucking bitch. He's like, thank you, bully. Thank you, state-mandated bully. I appreciate you.
cycle. It's sad, but true.
How?
Especially in
Who?
the black community. But
What? Who? What?
What are you saying?
How is it true? Who do you know where it's true, and why are they like? How do you know they're black? Like what?
Especially in the black community.
What the hell?
Bro, if I fucking said that, people would be like, oh shit, oh, so you're a fucking Nazi is what you're saying. It's like, what? But if he says it, it's like, yes, of course, yes, well, the black community and the issues in the black community, and no, the black community. If I said what he just fucking said in a video.
So losing people is bad, therefore become strong and forget about why you became strong to the point where you can beat people to death. Have kids and teach them these things, and that's a cycle?
So I understand why Punished Bearserker is the way he is.
What? he likes to make memes?
Yes.
That's why I make memes. To get the bullies off my back.
I make memes because I don't want to die.
None of my memes.
And then I go to the gym because I don't want to be strong. So I'm losing my friends. What? What are you talking about? Who's taking away your friends?
Memes.
Oh boy.
Memes are all that matters.
If I wasn't strong, I'd be bullied. And then my friends would leave me. Like, what? No, they wouldn't.
This is the meme Smudboy deserves, but not the one he needs.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. That's because the black community don't have dads. Oh. Jeez.
Yeah, only because the evil
Yeah.
white supremacist priests arrested them. It's not their fault.
Oh, so they were so hell-bent on protecting their community and family that they became too strong and killed people and left their family.
They were just put upon by the racist police because they were just having a friendly stabbing match.
That's why there's a problem with single mothers.
Just a friendly stabbing match among friends.
Just a
Oh yeah,
Friendly
I've seen that
stabbing
movie.
match.
It's called Knives Out.
Oh yeah, that happens in the black community a lot too. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, we're just joshing, we're just a duel among two fine fellows, just having a polite gentleman's duel.
Gentleman's
duel.
challenge.
Gentleman's Jew.
You're just walking around a black neighborhood, and they just come out and just throw a gauntlet on the ground. It's just like, I challenge you to a duel. Good sir. Very well then.
I
On
don't
guard.
much care for your mama.
Hey yourself.
What the fuck are we talking about right
I
now?
don't even
Your
know.
mother is quite an unseemly wench.
Your mother smells like elderberries.
But in Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke seems to
They're
break
black,
that
no.
cycle. In most shonen
He
anime,
doesn't have a dad.
Huh?
I don't.
What?
So wait. Oh god, look at me.
Huh?
How does he break the cycle if his dad never taught him to be strong?
But isn't he secretly like part demon? Isn't that the end?
Yes, like I think like it's grandfather,
It's like
or like great grandfather. Turns out to be like the demon king or something.
Yeah.
This main character usually goes through some sort of training to get stronger, to hit that breakthrough
Is that
point, you
toxic?
know?
Yes.
It's Goku
training to
going
get
Super
stronger
Saiyan, Luffy hitting Gear 3, Bobobo doing...
Let me see.
whatever this
Whoa.
is. Look, the point is, there's usually a part where the main character gets a lot stronger all at once. Usually
still
powered
following.
through
Once.
anger or righteous fury. But in Yu Yu Hakusho, the training is a little different. While he does his
How?
fair share of standard shonen training, it eventually gets to a point where, in order to beat Toguro, Yusuke must take in all of Genkai's power and make it his own. The process to do this causes immense pain, enough to kill him, but Yusuke takes it on to get strong enough to win.
Isn't he already dead? I mean, obviously he's in the spirit
Okay.
realm, so yeah.
No, he
I
came
think
back by that time.
At this point, he's alive.
Well, isn't that just a different way of the character epically gets back up trope?
This is the right at the beginning of the hero's journey where the wise man grants them the boon or the item, like the sword or the compass, to go off into the other realm, so they feel empowered to do things. So
Yeah, I think they basically just make it this risky procedure or something. So it's like there's a sense of risk to it, but it is basically just okay. Here's this.
yeah, it's like, are you sure you want to do this thing? It's like, okay, this is what you need to do. Do you want to do it? Okay, here we go. It's kind of like the point of no return. So
How is this like any different from like what like I don't want to bring up that DBZ like does this like in the first few episodes and Goku just fucking dies and like he knows like what's gonna be the consequence of that, but Piccolo like helps him do that anyway. So far it doesn't really prove anything.
What?
how is this stopping the toxically masculine villain? Because he's gaining powers to stop him? Is that it? I don't see how that is a lesson.
Well,
Or
but he's getting it in an untoxic way because going to the gym is racist.
you have to perform
black.
some ritual with your trainer to get better at beating the bad guy. Like, what? What is he talking about?
Have you seen that comic where it's like, how are you so motivated to keep coming to the gym every day? And you just see him looking at the poster on the wall. And you just see you just see the poster on the wall. And
Yes.
it's like going to the gym is fat phobia, and he's just like continues to lift.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
It's
It's
like
fucking,
fucking
they always
buff.
come up with something else. It's like lasagna phobia or some shit.
Yeah.
Yusuke writhes in pain, screaming and bleeding until he is nothing more than a tattered mess. He accepts that he wasn't strong enough to take it, and that he will probably die, right there in the cave. The only thing he wants in the world right now is a drink of water to ease his dry throat, when suddenly his prayers are answered and his pet spirit beast manages to get a few drops to him. Now this spirit beast is tied to Yusuke and reflects how he feels. Emotion, pain, everything that Yusuke feels, the beast feels it as well. So for as bad as Yusuke is hurt, the spirit beast feels that pain too. And even with that pain, the only thing on its mind is helping Yusuke. Because the only thing on Yusuke's mind is helping others. That is the character of Yusuke Urameshi. He doesn't want strength for the sake of being strong.
Isn't this the exact
Neither
same?
is Toguro.
Yeah, it's the exact
He
same
doesn't-
story.
Because he has this like tragic thing that happened, and he doesn't want to risk that ever again. He didn't like what? Huh?
It's the same
And
story.
how is this version? The same thing in fucking Naruto, where he's like, I want to protect my friends. In Bleach, why does he want to get stronger? I want to protect my friends. And fucking Dragon Ball, like, why does he want to get stronger? Like, it's like, oh, I gotta protect my friends from this new threat that has come, you know? But like,
Every single fucking show.
This is like, what? Huh?
Okay, here's Jake again. Kuwabara has to be stabbed in the chest for Yusuke to unlock his full potential. Oh boy, that's a Naruto plot, or well, specific to one character of Naruto. Anyway, this is the same story as the villain. It's just like, what is the point? I don't get it.
And he's tired of hiding his feelings from the world. And when he sees how selfless the spirit beast is, the embodiment of who he is as a person, that's what
Wait a second, isn't the spirit beast just mirroring his own emotions? So, like, the spirit beast feels exactly what he feels, so if it wasn't for him feeling whatever, the spirit beast wouldn't feel whatever?
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, so
like
what's
that.
it's a mirror. There's nothing to do with him realizing something. Oh,
Dude, with fucking toxic masculinity!
what is he talking about? Like, is he talking about therapy? Is he talking about men don't get therapy when they have problems, and therefore this is a good scene because
This is mirroring like when a
I don't
man
think he's making
accepting
that specific of a
chemotherapy.
claim. I think his claim is a little less specific, that men
Men don't
just
cry.
aren't that expressive of how they feel.
I don't get it. Do you want men to be crying and angry all the time? Do you think that that's
Yes.
Crying is the only valid form of emotional expression, and anything less is like, why are you hiding your emotions?
like
Being angry is human.
if you're talking about catharsis, that's a very specific expression. In most cases, you don't want guys in public to get angry. It's not pretty. It doesn't help anyone. If something's wrong and you're in pain, if you want to hold it in, I mean, that's your business. But most normal people will say there's something wrong with me, I need help. And they won't cry and have this emotional turmoil. They'll actually contact someone for help. This is not some like life lesson that anime taught us. This is a scene of a guy who went to extreme lengths to try to fight this other dude, and he's realizing that. What that means. What's the weight of his choices? Nothing to do with being negative or positive or masculine or feminine.
him over the edge. So when a rock starts to fall on the beast, Yusuke forgets his own pain and he acts. And that is what it means to be a man.
What?
What?
So is he saying that that's an example of positive masculinity? Is that his argument?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's saying like we should be like Yusuke,
yes.
but like
I don't.
Screaming
not
at rocks is what
all.
to be a man.
Like this isn't like
When he's in
this isn't
such
like
pain.
bone breaking or anything.
Yeah, when he's in such pain, but some other creature's also in pain, he finds the strength to go and help the creature who is trying to help him.
Wow, character has feelings.
Is that like you're in therapy and you're with another person like in a circle and like you realize that person has it worse off and you want to help them even though you're in pain? Is that the sort of reality? How does that have anything to do with being masculine? Or negatively masculine, or whatever the hell the term even means. That's just a realization. That's all it is.
I think it has to do with controlling your emotions and heeding your own strength to do something to help someone.
I guess.
And I think his argument is that that's positive masculinity. And his argument is that the other guy who was fractured. That's an example of negative masculinity. But it's like, I don't really see the labels that way. I see it's more like this character is masculine and a good guy. This character is masculine and a bad guy. But that doesn't mean that everything that they do characterizes masculinity and evil or masculinity and good. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
That's like saying when Arnold Schwarzenegger eats a cheeseburger, suddenly the act of eating the cheeseburger is masculine. It's like, no, he's just eating a fucking burger. I don't know, maybe he could do it in a masculine way, but I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
I mean, I'm just how is this what it means to be a man? I just
This
you
is
can have a female character.
yeah. This is I don't know. Maybe
Like, I want to protect people, and and you literally just swap this out for
yeah,
a female character.
this is more like I remember it was not a Bible reference. It's probably in there anyway, where the poor man will give his money to someone poorer than him, or just to a child or whatever, because he feels he likes charity, he likes giving. Like that's all this is really a lesson about, like giving even though when you have nothing, being kind even though you're not feeling good enough to be kind about it. You show kindness anyway. Like that sort of lesson.
Yeah. Or finding strength when you're feeling weak.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah, motivation to do something.
I'll be honest, I could see why you would call this positive masculinity. I could see it, even though that's perhaps not the terminology I would use.
Yeah, but
I could sympathize with that wording. But when he was talking about the villain, I didn't agree with him saying that was toxic masculinity.
Yeah, but
I just think that was a character that was really fucked up. Really strong.
Right. He could have chosen any moral or ethic or thing to be good for, but that doesn't negate or stop the negative masculine elements of whatever, because he didn't even address that. So if you're not attacking the thing you're trying to fix or is a problem, he could be staring at a waterfall and going, "That's pretty. See, he appreciates nature. Wow, why can't we be like that with men?" I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?"
He's just drawing these lines from these very specific things in the show and going, see, this is just like bullying. See, this is just like bad parenting. And it's just this so tenuous.
It is so like, where are you going? Like, where are we doing? What is this about? Like, what are you trying to say, sir? You're hurting my brain here. Anyway, let's just keep going. Hopefully he'll continue and get to a point. Mike Testa, this man sounds like he would yell at a kid over SU.
Universe.
Steven
Universe?
Oh. I wouldn't be surprised. If he is a character designer / prop artist,
he actually has a video on that thing, and I think the video down was that nothing is garbage.
Nothing is garbage?
Oh god, no.
Yes, as in not a single media can be garbage, because there's good in every single media.
Wow. Holy crap.
He doesn't like that people are making a long video. He had a comment saying that people who make 3-hour long video essays are not smart. Instead, they are just long-winded.
Long video bad.
So long-winded people can't be smart.
Long men bad.
Cannot be smart.
Wow. Okay.
You merely adopted the long.
Yeah, the long man bad, pretty much. Jake,
Orange man bad, long bad man.
What a weird. Bad. Yeah, I guess thesis papers, when you write your master's or your PhD, that's
exactly
you're an idiot.
God, 50 pages is a fucking minimum.
Yeah.
If that's not long for you, then Jesus Christ, man.
You have to publish that thing. You have to spend money just to get the paper and the hardcover and all this. Geez.
And then see that your references are all correctly collected, unless you do plagiarism.
Academia. Yeah, this guy obviously did not enjoy it very much.
No.
Jake the Surgeon, thank you, sir. This is nonsense, incoherent, blithering nonsense. If Yusuke doesn't win the tournament, the same tournament he was forced into, everyone he cares about will be killed. He's a hero. Heroes are not a form of anti-toxic masculinity. They're called heroes. It has nothing to do with being a guy. You could argue most heroes are male, depicted in fiction, and you could say the stereotype of the male hero comes from humble beginnings and has certain archetypes like the everyman or the loner or this or that. but we're just following the hero's journey. We're just following the natural beats of a story. It has nothing to do with being a male. You can apply this to female heroes just as well. And he hasn't addressed what this is solving, what this is fixing. It's just Yusuke doing things to save his friends, which is almost in every anime. Okay. I think we can keep going.
Being the strongest. It's not about never being sad or showing emotion, talking big or anything like that. It's about protecting the things you love. Using your...
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
I haven't heard that before.
Do you know what strength means? It means protecting the things you love. Okay.
People die if they are killed.
No, he just wants power to defeat a villain so his friends won't die. He'll do anything to get power. Sounds a bit desperate to me. Sounds a bit nefarious, even.
Especially from a woman.
Sounds like Star Wars. Oh.
Those who need it, encouraging instead of breaking down. Being a man does not mean hiding your weakness. It means accepting.
Hello.
Yeah, we hear you.
Disconnected a few times.
I don't know. It wasn't even my internet. My internet was fine. Just Discord just shit itself for me for some reason. Oh.
The signal looks good on my end. It's okay for you?
Yeah.
Do you have a VPN on?
No. As I said, my internet's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is fine otherwise. Just Discord.
What else is new?
Yeah, that happens. If it happens
I
one
was
more
watching
time.
fucking Simba the other day, and she comes on, and she's like, "I am the goddess of Discord," and I thought that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I feel like you could put like a fucking VTuber or something over that, or like some like person that you could. Oh, I'm the goddess of Discord. And like, oh.
Yeah, that's what Yusuke does. He has rejected what society shoves onto men and has embraced his inner self.
Not really sure that has anything to do with the plot or the character's arc, but okay.
Fuck. What are you on about?
You could argue he rejected being present in class because he was a truant.
Yeah, I don't think he was particularly fighting society.
He rejected Donald Trump.
was his teacher's
That was
teaching?
a bit of a weird arc in the anime where Donald Trump just rips off his shirt and he just got these rippling muscles and he's just like
JoJo.
Yeah.
Jumps in the air.
Are you approaching me?
He's just like, I have the best
Donald
spiritual powers. The best.
Mike Testa, losers like this losers like this make anime seem lame. I
don't know about that.
Where was society, or where was the parents in Yusuke's life before he died, teaching him bad things? His dad wasn't around. His mom wasn't really teaching him anything.
Fuck, now I can see Donald Trump in the tournament talk, like the final opponent. Oh god.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
It's like
nope.
a spirit wall. Yeah.
Spirit wall.
I keep thinking of like a white version of Don King. That would be like Trump. His own crazy hair, and he's like, I have the best contender. This guy's never lost a fight. Okay. He's from the
I can
spirit.
definitely imagine him in the fucking
Believe
stands.
me.
Yeah, and
Get him the hell out
attack. This is the strongest attack you've ever seen. Believe me. And then he does it, and everything explodes. Wow, look at that explosion. Best explosion.
yeah. Just a small donation of 1 million joules of spiritual energy that he took from the audience. He just absorbs their spirit energy.
We're gonna carry out an exchange.
I'm gonna fire an attack at you, and you're gonna pay for it.
and
Yeah, the way that
figuratively.
his moves. All right, I'll talk later. No,
A
it's all right.
lot of
I'll go on
shonen
forever.
is just about becoming strong physically, beating the bad guy, saving the girl, trying to figure out who has the biggest beam. My beam's the biggest. No, my beam's the biggest.
Well, that's pretty much
What's
every
wrong with
episode of
that?
Dragon Ball.
What's wrong with that, though?
What's the
Are
ending
you
of you?
saying
The
beams
fight
are a
in the
fucking
tournament
phallic
talk, really?
metaphor?
Because I think like there's something very similar there.
What's wrong with having a big beam?
Personally, I have a
he
very
doesn't like
small
them.
beam myself. And I'm not insecure about my tiny beam, okay? My
If you actually
minuscule-
watch the fights, they're all
minuscule beam.
very, very physical. Yeah, they do these weird flashbacks where they show the motivation of the characters, but that's like most shows anyway. Why they're
Plus, a
fighting.
lot of the time, there's multiple fights going on at the same time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It keeps cutting between them.
Look, there's only one thing I have to say is that jet fuels can't melt energy beams.
Also, Worcestershire. I just want to say that.
Or Chestershire Shosh.
Sweatpants just so everyone can see just how big your beam is. And I don't dislike stuff like that. I love stupid shows like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. If you guys would watch the video that literally no one watched, you would know that. But it's nice to see something like Yu Yu Hakusho tackle shonen in a different way. Getting stronger through self-reflection. Finding strength in the ones you love. Not just packing on the muscle
That's
just
fucking
because you
stupid.
can.
Like, if you went up to fucking Mike Tyson, you're just like, bro, why do you go to the gym? Why don't you just, like, find strength in the things you
Yeah,
love
but
or whatever?
he literally risks his life to take this procedure and to absorb this power. Like, he didn't just train. He did this other thing immediately to get power quickly, like a cheat. And this guy's like, this is amazing. He cheated. He risked his life to get more power. It's like, wasn't he doing that always? Just slowly? It's like taking steroids. Oh, he cheated. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't much different from achieving Super Saiyan. It's the same idea. You're just modifying the aesthetic to fit this show. That's all. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
He's doing a thing to get past a hurdle, or else things happen. It's like, yes, he knows the stakes.
Yeah.
Wow. Every story I've seen that has something
Doesn't
going
always
on.
have to be political connotations to it.
And the reason Yu Yu Hakusho is talked about so much, it's freaking good! So at the end of this arc, you see the two men. One powered by love and acceptance.
No. He's motivated
No,
by
he's
love.
powered by determination.
Yeah, he's motivated to do things, but he's powered by whatever the thing that ball of energy that chick gave him. That's it.
Oh.
Why?
He's powered by G Fuel, which you can get now with our code. No.
Hashtag smart energy.
Smud fuel. Yeah, I'll make my own brand of caffeine energy drink or something.
One, hate and fear. Tagoro has morphed into a grotesque, muscle-bound freak, whose body is literally
This-
killing members of the audience.
This is the peak male body. You may not like it. But that's, yeah.
He's got like heat valves in his shoulders.
Goguro is the
Pets
gym bro
have
that we needed.
pecs.
Look, just because
His,
you don't have
his
heat
pecs
valve-
have pecs, and he's eating a crunch bar that has pecs.
The next guy for Old Spice commercials.
Like, he looks like it makes me think, like, you know, those like sort of Renaissance era like things where it's like the big puffy things. It's like that, but that's like skin tight. Those are actually skin tight. That's just the shape of their
those, yeah.
muscles.
Here, Mike Testa. This man makes me want to commit expiration. What? What are you talking about?
Are you a fucking sandwich?
Are you a jug of milk? Like, what's going on?
You gotta wait for the next super chat to explain the joke.
Yeah, that's how Mike operates. He has an idea, he spits it out. We're like, what? And he comes back like 10 minutes later. Oh yeah, I was talking about sandwiches. Like, oh, all right. Here's Jake. Thank you, Jake. Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2 because he's watching as his loved ones were being beat to death, and that his inability to act costs some their life. Okay. Does that make him toxically masculine, though? Because it takes the dying of friends and family for him to become violent.
Wow.
Ooh.
Caring about friends and family. Wow, getting in touch with your feminine side, I see.
So you could kill people with your fists. Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
It just gets weird when people transfer this stuff into the word masculinity, because it's always either positive or negative. You can't just have masculinity and not have it be positive or negative. It just makes things weird and binary, you know? It's just weird. It's just really weird language that they choose to use.
There's plenty of women out there who like being buff and athletic and going to the gym and making it a lifestyle. So you saying women can't do, is that masculine to do that? I don't know. This is he's dancing around the term because he thinks Yu Yu Hakusho has some sort of moral lesson to teach us about being a male.
Ivan the Mad Vandal. Beams are phallic, and the beams clashing represents their repressed homosexuality. Oh, I see. Thank you. It's also got bisexual lighting.
The beams, of course, would be bisexual, of course, because they're the light energy. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if they're the right color, right?
Well, they would be
bisexual lighting.
They would be secondary colors, so it would be all the spectrum of, purple and orange and this and that. Mike Testa, it's a nicer way of saying no longer be alive. Oh, okay.
He wants to be an ex, Mike Testa.
So I want to kill myself, but I want to expire. All right, we gotcha. I guess I'm too involved with. Yeah, I'm too involved with like food, so I think expiration dates. I'm thinking like produce. So, and the blueberries I have in the fridge. I gotta be.
Corpse formerly known as Mike Testa.
Oh, he has a due date. Like, oh. Here's Jake the Surgeon.
We all do.
Well, yeah, but I wish I could read it. Jake the Surgeon. This video makes me want to eat a puffer fish sandwich.
I take it he's allergic to pufferfish.
I think
either that or it's just going to choke him to death.
I think our joke about Mike Testa trying to explain himself went a bit too far. Okay.
At least you're making money from it.
Well, yeah, but 33% of that or 30% of that goes to YouTube, and
yeah,
that's always fun. So
yeah, fucking robbery.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, keep going.
He living, breathing toxic masculinity. It's not even subtle anymore.
What? Oh my. Let's go back.
Whose body is literally killing members of the audience. He is living, breathing toxic masculinity.
Okay, I think we're done.
How is it killing members of the audience?
I don't care.
Do people just, the moment people see pecs, they immediately frantically jump out the window? What the fuck is this argument?
This guy thinks
pretty much like his power is like in that scene is that like he can like suck away like the spirit energy that the audience has and like use it as his own. That's what his body does at the point.
Okay.
But that's like the mechanic of the fucking
I thought
show.
He was saying like people watching the show are dying.
If only.
Mood.
This is so dumb.
Why can't it's just because a character is strong and evil at the same time, that doesn't mean they're specifically an embodiment of toxic masculinity.
This is
okay. Dumb.
Let's imagine the story is about a necromancer and he uses magic to resurrect the dead to fight his battles or whatever, and in order to do that, he uses the life force of people around him. This guy would say, because he's a necromancer, he's using his toxic masculinity magical powers to hurt people. He is the living embodiment of toxic masculinity because he's a necromancer. I don't even know why why would you even think this way? Like how would your brain go from fantasy, magical powers, skills, all these things you find in stories in manga and anime and other video games of people having supernatural abilities. He is the physical embodiment of toxic. It's like, this is the silliest thing to say. It has nothing to do with that. You are projecting so hard. All right, we can keep going if you guys want. There's not much left.
Might as well
we
get
can
to the
finish.
end.
Okay. Let's. Oh, Joe Crazy. Toxic male. This isn't even my final form. Mike Testa. Smud, what does the scouter say about his intellect? I think he's stuck in like grade school or
Off
something.
the scale. Oh, you mean it's really high? No. I mean it's off the scale. It's you. Oh, so it's so high. No. It's just off the scale.
Here's Jake the Surgeon. Or Tugoro is what happens when he let the fear rule your choices, and so you end up becoming something you never intended.
Kogoro is like basically the Afghanistan war, you know what I'm saying? The war in Iraq, you know, the war on terror.
Oguro becoming toxic masculinity.
Right. Toguro is basically like a reaction, like him reacting to his tragedy is basically like America reacting to 9/11. You know, it's basically the same thing, right? Because this terrible thing happens and he's like, well, you know, I got to overcompensate and do even more terrible things. It's like, whoa, bruh.
So
That's why Yu Yu Hakusho is a metaphor for imperialism.
for politics. Oh God. for government intervention in Iraq. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Before that, even though it was before that, maybe it's more like Vietnam. I don't know. Maybe
It's like, yeah, probably. It's closer to Vietnam.
it's a metaphor for Vietnam.
Oh,
the Vietnam
boy.
War.
All right, we're at 13 minutes. We got 2 minutes and a bit to go. Hopefully there's some Skillshare or, I don't know, selling something. Squarespace would be nice.
Dollar Shave Club.
Not anymore.
Yeah, this guy does not use Dollar Shave Club.
And they fight. And Yusuke wins. Of course he does. Sorry for the spoilers on this near 30-year-old property. It's also a shonen, so you know exactly what's gonna happen. And Toguro is happy he lost. Happy he was wrong. Because the disgusting blood-soaked path he was walking on wasn't the correct one. Which means no one has to follow him. Everything he was afraid of. Death, losing, loneliness. He accepts them all. And he does it with a smile. He lost. And now, maybe the next generation will be better.
Why? How? Who? What are you talking about? What?
Isn't like Toguro like
Because he's
like
gonna
100
run
years
home
old
and
at
have
this
children
point?
or something.
I guess. Like, did he kill his family? Like, what happened?
Oh.
I wish he'd have these silly comments. He would not mention them because I'm like lost now. Maybe this would be. It's like, dude, no. Just tell us what happened in the story. All right.
That simple though. Because in real life, it's not that simple. There will always be another threat. And there will always be things that society lets happen.
So you're saying he's going to go back to his ways and start killing people again?
No, other people are gonna do that for some reason.
He just goes off, walks in the sunset, and lives in peace? No, he's never. It's not that simple. He's going to keep fighting and killing again because life is complicated. It's like, oh. So he
I think it's
didn't?
more that there'll be other Togoros. And there'll be other.
So he
like,
didn't learn his lesson. Yeah.
No, he learned his lesson, but other people didn't learn from his lesson.
He had no kids, no one to teach, didn't write a book, didn't go to therapy. Oh, poor Toguro.
Worse than Toguro. I mean, he's not even that strong in the grand scope of the show. He is middle tier at best. Imagine going through all that just to be told that you basically just beat a Zarbon. Yusuke is a trooper. But just like there will be more demons to fight in Yu Yu Hakusho, toxic masculinity is going to be a thing for quite a while. Dudes getting picked on for what they like, how they act, what they...
That's called bullying. That's not called toxic masculinity.
That's called based, nerd.
It's not always bullying. Sometimes you can just be taking the piss out of somebody. It's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Maybe
just
if you
keep
weren't
each
such
other
a
in
big
line because you're
weenie.
fucking around.
Maybe if you weren't such a big fucking weenie, people wouldn't pick on you, huh?
Like, okay,
You fucking
I'll actually give you
nerd.
guys an example. Like, so I was I'm working with my uncle right now, a hard labor job where he does flooring, and he has me bring in the planks, and he gave me shit. He was like, "Are you really only bringing in, like, 3 planks, which is half a box?" He was like, "Are you really?" I was like, "Well, I don't know, what the fuck," and it like really hurt my feelings. So then I went down and I just took the whole box, and I was like, "Oh shit, I can do it!"
Wow.
like he gave me shit. But and it really hurt my feelings. But if he didn't give me shit, I wouldn't have realized I can do the whole thing.
I think like the same fucking thing
It's
happened with
not
this guy, but
that
like he never got
bad.
over it.
Sometimes you got to get your feelings hurt to improve. It's
Yeah.
not
I
that
find
big of
it's
a
like
deal.
it's weird. Like people, a lot
I
of the
think
time
that people that say this about toxic masculinity, they perpetuate a victim mentality towards people that get picked on a little bit. It's like you can get picked on a little bit and it's not such a big deal. That's not the same thing as getting your ass kicked at school, but
yeah.
I just feel like people over exaggerate it.
But I often find like I've seen a lot where it's like someone who gets bullied a lot and then, but they aren't that affected by it. But someone who gets bullied a little but like thinks about it a lot and overthinks it is like more affected by it than the person who got bullied more. Like just depending on their
Because they
personality
didn't let
and
it
how they
affect
took
them
it,
as much. Yeah, some
you
people
know?
are they just internalize things too much.
And
And
they
I
just
think that
thought
when
about
people
it
say
so
things
much.
like what this guy says, I think that it perpetuates overly internalizing those things. It's like, just don't internalize it too much. I know that can be hard to do, but I just don't think it's good that all these YouTubers and shit are making these statements. Because it's like, well, you're making people feel almost obligated to internalize it.
Well, the combination of this guy's voice and his weird wide-eyed puppet is kind of just like, oh,
Yeah, it's some
dude.
weird shit. It's some weird shit, yeah.
But I think it's kind of priming people to expect bullying and to see bullying everywhere and to see like interactions that otherwise you might not even consider bullying as bullying when that's not necessarily appropriate. And it's sort of, you kind of should have a little bit of a thicker skin. And I think there's certain things where if it's like, oh no, people are bullying me or people are making fun of me because I don't do any like sport or something. And I don't do that much myself, but I think there's a certain good element of a little bit of light ribbing of like, maybe you should go outside. Maybe you should go outside sometime. Maybe you should go do some sport or something or some like. I think stuff like that where it's like, is that a bad thing for people to be like, maybe you should do something physical, some physical activity once in a while. And I think a lot of it is stuff like that where it's like, maybe you should kind of, maybe that wouldn't be a bad idea to do some of that kind of stuff,
All right, one more super chat, and we'll try and finish this video off. Jake, thank you. Toguro also chooses to be tortured in hell for what he's done, even though he doesn't have to. Oh boy.
Yeah, he chose his own sentence. Like he could have had like a lesser one.
That's fucking cool. I like that. What a badass.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is he talking about the antagonist?
Yeah.
Toguro, yeah.
What a badass. I like that guy. He's my favorite character.
He is the embodiment of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's fucking badass, dude. I like toxic masculinity, man. That's fucking cool.
No, you're supposed to think it's bad. No.
And it's sad, but it's getting better. Little by little, people are learning what it really means to be a man. People are
Not from you.
growing more open, more compassionate. People like me, and hopefully people like you as well. And Yusuke's journey into being an actual man is told.
What? It's not a journey about him being a man.
An actual man.
That's not what happens in this. I will have to watch
It's
the
not a
entire.
coming of age story. It's a shonen. I don't know. Is it a coming of
I mean,
age story?
shonen. Yeah, I
don't
mean,
think
shonen
so.
kind of like they're tend to go hand in hand to a certain extent, but like I don't know, man. It just seems.
A typical like hero's journey story, really.
It's a story
Yeah, I mean,
about
he
being the
gets-
shit.
You have to get strong to overcome your
Why do you always
obstacles.
have to politicize what it
It's
means to
yeah,
be
it's a
the
very
shit?
simple story, right? It's a very simple story because it's literally just I want to protect my friends.
Yeah,
I want to
it's
do the
not.
right thing.
It's not your story where he wants to graduate and become a functioning adult. He wants to get his life back. He died, and he has to go on this whole quest and do all these things in the spirit realm and help out people, and then he can get his life back, and then he can go on with his life. So it's a lot of fighting. It's a lot of tracking down demons and beating them up or destroying them or whatever. So is that a bit of a hero's journey? Yeah. Is it coming of age? Not really. Unless you see the progression of years and years and he actually does become an adult. But I think it's only 3 years.
I don't think it's that long. Yeah, I don't think, and I don't think there's a time skip in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, he still does whatever he does, and he doesn't really change in terms of age. So, if it was a actual school rom-com or slice of life where you see the progression of the years as he goes from a junior to a senior to a graduate, which we do see in some rom-coms in anime, but I don't think this is one of those. So, no.
This wasn't about, I don't think, becoming a man. I think it was just about overcoming very specific obstacles in a typical shonen formula.
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't seen it myself yet.
typical
I would like
stuff.
to, but
Most
from what
of the
I understand, that's what it seems to be.
Yeah, it's just like One Piece or stories like that where they pretty much remain the same. They don't age much, if at all. Whereas stories like Naruto, which does have a shonen vibe, it progresses. Like he gets older, and then he becomes the next series. He's an adult, so it's a lot different.
I mean, One Piece does have like character development, just not really of Luffy specifically. Really, I mean, there's a little bit, but it's.
I recommend watching Totally Not Mark's videos on One Piece. If
Oh,
anyone's
they're
interested.
really good. They're really good videos. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I haven't finished them myself yet because I have a habit of procrastinating if I really like something.
I need to
So
catch
I
up.
need
on
to-
One Piece.
I need to
haven't
watch
read it in
those
a while.
videos again. Yeah, he's really good for the most part. For the most part, he's really good.
I like his
He
editor.
says
on
he
those
says
videos
some
as well.
things I don't care for. Like when he says that he thinks that Dragon Ball can be a little juvenile when it gets perverted, and he says that it should be they need to stop doing that if they want Western audiences to take it more seriously. Like people that aren't, and I was like, this isn't for those people. This is for people that know what they like.
I think
This is
in-
for people
I
that
like
you
though-
shouldn't have to accommodate the franchise for people that aren't already watching it.
Yeah, but I like in Dragon Ball the way he's like, hang on a minute, you don't have a penis. Like he lived there in like the first episode. Like he's just like, hang on, and where's your
that shit was
tail? And where's your
funny.
penis? You know?
Yeah, that shit was funny. Yeah.
And like he's just so like innocent, and that he just doesn't have any sense of like decency or of like shame or anything. And I think it really adds to like his characterization that he just doesn't have any concept that this is like inappropriate.
Well, that's when he's a
builds
Yeah,
up
that's
so
the
much
joke.
on like the latest stuff on like the show.
yeah, but he's like what 5 or 6 years old or that age. I can't remember.
Yeah,
how.
he was a
very
kid.
young.
Around
He-
that,
it's
yeah.
the original Dragon Ball. He was a kid.
Yeah.
The original Dragon Ball.
He was what, like 9,
Oh, he was
How old-
I
little.
think he's younger than that at the start anyway,
like 6?
because he's like really small in Dragon Ball.
Here is Mike Testa. This man's Johnson. Wait a second. The man's Johnson is clearly a clip-on plus beard. I'm trying to. Again, Mike. I don't. Okay, and you know what? That's fine. That's great. Thank you. Jake, these people make me put on the mask of misogyny and continue my work. Well, you know, gotta do what you gotta do, man. We gotta keep at it. One day, you know, everyone will be like us.
It's like that fucking meme of the sort of fat sweaty nerd coming in and going, hello, Janet. You're so beautiful today. It's like, hello, HR. And then you have the really buff, like, hot guy coming in. He just comes in and he just says something like he'll just say, beat women. He'll just come in and just go, I fucking beat women. And it's just like, he's so attractive. He just has to look the way he looks at me. I think he might like me. Beat women. I do it for sport.
Why do you make the guy sound like Rick from Rick and Morty?
No, that would be beat women, Morty. You gotta beat women, Morty. Oh, gee, Rick. I don't know if I don't really want to beat women, Rick. You gotta beat him, Morty.
Put me in such a fucking pussy, Morty.
Put me in such a pussy, Morty. We're gonna beat the
Shit out of him, Morty.
Morty.
You gotta fuck him up, Morty.
All right, one more from Mike. All right. In that case, then, Monster is a coming-of-age story about Nazi experiment, murder, about fighting toxic masculinity and the black community and being good.
Okay.
Monster's
Yes.
so good, though. You should read or watch Monster.
I'm so glad other people can see it in this light.
Monster is a gem. It's one of my favorite animes.
So good. I really need to
Good
read
stuff.
other Naoki Urasawa stuff. I've read Monster and I've read Pluto. I haven't read 20th Century Boys. I should read that at some point.
Whew, what a crazy story that was. That was great. I love that. Anyway, we're almost done. We'll just keep going. Hopefully he'll have nothing more to say. Hopefully.
Beautifully. Even the theme song speaks to his personal growth of accepting the kindness in his life and growing comfortable with himself as a person. I don't know where to go. When I feel like crying, it's time to open myself, do something new. I want to stop and grow up a bit. Yusuke died and was given a second chance to reevaluate and look
What, you mean like
into
Goku?
himself and figure
Like
out
when Goku died?
exactly what he needed to change. And he didn't need to get stronger. Beat up every kid that came his way.
He didn't need to get
prove his-
stronger? What? Did we watch the same show? Huh?
Well, not through muscles, you see. Like he got
But he-
stronger by energy.
What? But he didn't need to get stronger.
What is happening?
What? What do you mean?
How did we get to this?
I don't know.
I think by the time he forgot about the show.
Wait a second. What story do you know where the hero needs to get weaker? He's too strong. I gotta be weak. Maybe if One Punch Man figures
One
out
Punch Man.
how to not be as strong, maybe that would be character development. But every show I've ever seen, every story is always about getting stronger. There's only one instance I can think of in
No. In fucking Captain Marvel, see, it's not about getting stronger. It's about her like realizing her strength or some shit.
really.
It's about her like learning about herself or some. It's like learning to accept her power or some bullshit. She doesn't actually have to get stronger. She just has to realize the strength that she already has. It's such fucking.
There's only
Bullshit, I
one instance I can think of, which is Buttercup's Baby, which is the novel sequel to The Princess Bride, where Inigo Montoya enters this cave and he's accomplished all he wanted. He's avenged his dad. He's like, what do I do? And he has this dream where he chose a different path in life and he had to unlearn his swordsmanship to like be with a person. And he realizes that is what that would have happened, but he can never accept that path in life. And for that little brief, weird, kind of like a cave sequence, like in Star Wars, where Luke faces himself and fights Darth Vader. It's kind of like that, where he has to unlearn his skills to talk and live a life, and then he realizes this isn't real and he has to leave. That's the only time I can think of where a hero unlearns stuff or becomes weak. Every story, like every shonen story I can think of, has a weak story of a weak character, a child growing up, becoming stronger, and learning how to get there, not unlearning how to become normal. Maybe Falstaff in Shakespeare, where he throws away his book and his staff.
I mean, Gohan kind of in Dragon Ball, and like after he does the big thing, like he sort of
Then he starts turning into a jackass later.
He kind of just sort of becomes a normie. He's sort of just like I'm just gonna be a normie. I've done enough like fighting and stuff. I'm just gonna be a normie.
Yeah, but then he becomes the Great Saiyaman, and it's really stupid.
Oh, sorry, Prospero, not Falstaff. That's another Shakespearean story. Prospero in the Tempest. Anyway.
One of those.
One of those. The last one he ever wrote. Yeah, that one. Yeah, whatever it was.
One of them. They're all the same anyway.
Manliness. The only thing he really needed was to feel the touch of a friend.
Oh god, that was cringy.
That was pretty bad, dude.
Woo!
The touch of a friend meaning
When you feel like crying.
the touch of his
Bad touch.
female master giving him all that energy in a friendly way. Okay.
I'm reading Wheel of Time at the minute, and every time it says he touched the taint. He touched the taint of Sidene. It's like, ooh. Why does it have to be the taint? He touched the taint of the male half of the true source.
Touch that shit.
That's a very common.
Other people are touching. Other men are touching the taint right now.
That's a very common term in fantasy novels.
Why does it have to be the taint? Why do you have to keep touching stop touching the taint?
It's one of those things where you read, you go, oh, what is it now? Is it a...
Why did it have to be that word?
Yeah, is it like a poison? Is it some spiritual object? Is it some ethereal mist? Like, what is this shit now? You have to describe it. Oh, God, here we go. You have been touched by... you have been tainted. Like, oh, no.
Everybody touched the taint.
It's capital T. Like, oh.
No, I don't want to touch the taint. But you must. You must touch the taint to gain power.
Here's Mike Test again. Smud, you see he's compensating for his clip-on eggplant.
Yes.
What?
That's certainly a tick.
His eggplant's taint. There you go. We have 18 seconds. Okay.
There you go.
Yay, it's done.
It's over. We did it.
Okay. Talking with kids, not at them. Hats off to Captain Underpants.
Yeah,
I
why?
always saw those at the book fairs. Never really got into them.
Those are some of my favorite books as a kid in 4th grade, I think.
I feel like they seem like the sort of same. I put them in the same like box, I guess, in my head as like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
like a similar genre.
All right, that was kind of exhausting, actually. I think I need a drink just to relax. And man, how far can your ideology take you? Apparently very, very far. Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the panel. Thanks for jumping in there, Yokai. Didn't see you, but thank you for popping in.
Yeah.
It's a good show. I mean, there's lots of great 90s animes, and just don't read too much into it, folks. It's not that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So enjoy. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. And keep the suggestions coming. We appreciate it.